everybody. How y'all doing? Shout out to everybody coming on up in here. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I apologize for running a little bit behind from the previous live, but we are here. Y'all ready? Y'all, we got Ryan. I want to make sure I'm saying his name correctly. Mauro, Mauro, that did a live stream, and you guys asked to check this out. And yesterday the power went out, so I couldn't go live like I wanted to. But we're here today. We're here today. And it looks like this was what, 2 hours? I want to make sure. Okay. I don't think I've ever seen any of his videos or anything. Is he on YouTube? Y'all know he's on YouTube? I'm not quite sure. But we're going to check this out. You guys requested it and wanted to see it because Candace went over there to Russia and then thought she was going to bring all that nonsense over here. Girl, bye. No. Can't you keep that nonsense over there? So we're here and we're going to check this out. You guys, make sure you guys are hitting that like button as you come in. Thank y'all so much for tuning in, by the way. And thank you guys so much for your patience. I appreciate all of you all for working with me, knowing the power went out. We are having a good time up in here. And we're going to get to this. Tomorrow we will be doing our little marathon. Candace, you dumb demon. I hope you know that you had this coming. You know when mama's not able to do a live stream like this every night, you have a marathon coming up. And tomorrow we will be having a marathon. We getting it all in. We have so much content to go over. Milk Bar dropped a new video. I actually want to see that. Yeah, can we see that right quick? Can we watch that? I want to see his new video. Oh man. How many flip-flops on Charlie Kirk died? Because she's now changing her story. Candace, you dumb demon. This is unbelievable. It's like, why can't she just read a book and talk like her, Candace? You can talk about Dr. Seuss. You can like show us how you've learned your colors today. Or like simple math. Like you finally figured out what's the answer to 4 times 3. There's so many things you can be telling us. Now you want to sit here and go in on this. Why do you keep flip-flopping back and forth as if it matters? You know, in the court of law, Candace, your theories, your opinions mean nothing. The judge does not care. Neither will the jury. And if they do, they'll be biased. And we'll get rid of them because we have laws. Laws. Something you don't override here. You dumb dictator in the making. This is all coming from the person who would rather be a dictator and not a president and work with other branches of government. If she were to ever consider being the leader of the United States of America, she would want to be a dictator. You can't make this up. No. You and the devil are both a liar, Candace. There's no way we will ever let you become a dictator. You do know that, right? We will ship your behind back to Russia before we let you think you're going to be dictator of the United States. No, ma'am. Nope. Don't care about your bots. The candy asses, all y'all can kick rocks. You will never be dictator of the United States of America. We're not in the mood. No, thank you. Take that to Russia. Can't make this up. Speak to everybody up in here. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. If you guys came over from the Umar Johnson live stream, I want to thank you so much for hanging out with me. It's been a great evening and I've enjoyed this. And it's like, you got to make up so much when you miss out. But we're back here again. JP6 Gunner, how you doing? Tiara, how you doing? Mackenzie, what's going on? How y'all doing? Happy, is it Friday? Happy Friday to you all. I appreciate you all so much. Mindy up in here. Shout out to the mods, you all. Beth, how you doing? JP, I see you, honey. Dana up in here. Say hello, everybody. How you doing? How you doing? Sherry up in here. Colleen up in here. Mama Sage up in here. Saint is back with us again. Mindy, shout out to the mods, you all. I'm ready to get into this. Y'all ready? Good evening, everyone. D. Hampton up in here. Y'all good? Mandy says hi. Oh, man, y'all. We got marathons coming up tomorrow. We got to finish up part 3 of this video we're checking out over in Umar. He's another scammer. Oh, man. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Susie Q, y'all ready? I see y'all ready. We're going to get to this. So, Milk Bar TV, of course. Shout out to Milk Bar. He did a new video, and I wanted to get this in. It's only a couple minutes before we start on Ryan Mauro. Maybe he'll say his name, and I'll just get it right there. We're just going to say Ryan right now. But we got to get this in. Y'all know Milk Bar is a genius when it comes to, showing how much of a dumb, hypocritical liar Candace really is. Candace, kick rocks. All right. Hit the 4 where you all can see and hear. Let's go.
Thinking that a shot went off from here, if that was just maybe like decoy number 2, and actually Charlie was shot from beneath him, which then could maybe explain why there was no exit wound. Maybe everyone's looking up when we should be looking below, right? Maybe we should be looking below. People are doing very, what I would say, credible videos. People that certainly have the credibility are ballistics experts that are saying that what we see in the front is an exit wound, not an entry wound. Theory that is being floated that Charlie was shot from the back. And I'm telling you this 100%. Charlie Kirk was shot from the front. And at least a fragment of the bullet was recovered from his neck. What I can state rather unequivocally is that there is now more evidence, more evidentiary support that Charlie may have been killed by a rigged explosive device that was on him. I never dismiss the exploding mic.
What evidence? What evidence? You looking at something for 16 seconds too long and it's somehow blurring your vision because you have no brain, and then deciding, yep, this looks like something explosive. What evidence? Do you understand what that wound would look like if it were explosive versus a shot going with a bullet going in it? This is ridiculous. And this is all coming from the woman who thinks that she's entitled to see the medical examination and autopsy report. Let's not forget, Candace, you had someone from a hospital email you patient health information that you were not legally entitled to receive. You did not get any permission from Erica Kirk to get any screenshot of Charlie Kirk going to anybody's ER. And that employee should be fired. That hospital should be sued, as well as you. You invaded his privacy with that. You were not entitled to that. We didn't need to know if he actually went to this ER versus this ER. He died. This is her saying, I'm trying to figure out who shot him. But she won't go to UVU. She won't even go to the spot where he was sitting. Go figure. Candace, you're ridiculous.
I was always clear to my team that I thought there was something there. And then my producer has a note that there are a lot of comments asking about the microphone theory. Here's what I will say about that. When I looked at image from the side, the microphone is still on him afterwards. So like when you see it from on, it looks like it kind of disappears, but then it kind of shifts. When you look at the perspective slightly to the left, you see that it actually stays on him and it's just in the fold. I would imagine if anything did sling into him with that kind of a force, it would fall off. And I can tell you it doesn't fall off. Yeah, I never changed my...
But didn't you say, if you're saying that and you got video evidence, then you would be able to see clearly what occurred. You don't have to assume unless your eyes deceive you. All these hours of her just looking at gore and blood and, shots and stuff and being obsessed over that. She's not taking time to actually see what's happening physiologically speaking. She can't tell you anything anatomically about the womb itself. I did a whole video on that. The entry point, possible blood vessels that were severed that will line up with the medical exam. Funny how she can't do any of that. But yet, she saw all these videos. And you're still coming out assuming something. Why? Video evidence is concrete. What are you seeing? She can't even say concretely what she sees in video evidence. It's so stupid. You don't need to walk away from watching a video assuming you saw something. You simply say, here's what I saw. It's that simple. That's not something the jury would be able to walk away from. If they look at video evidence in the jury, They have to say what they saw, not what they assume they see. So either you're seeing this in the video evidence or you're not. And because there's so many videos, those videos are just giving you different angles of the same thing. Why are you walking away talking about assuming that what do you mean assuming? It's like her reading something and then saying, assuming that I read this word. Well, you could just show the letter and show the document and we can see the words for ourselves. It's like me saying, look at this video right here. Y'all clearly see the words September 30th, 2025. Now imagine if I said, assuming that I see the date September 30th, 2025. I don't need to assume what I'm reading. I can just simply read what I see. Does that make sense? When you're watching video evidence, you don't need to assume what you're seeing. Just say what you see. I see Sep 30, 2025. That's it. There's nothing else to assume with that. It's very concrete. We all see this. Hit the 4 if you all see Sep 30, 2025. June 17, 2026. Hit the 4 if you all see that. If you don't see that, then something's wrong with your video or your eyes. I don't know what else to tell you. We don't need to assume that we see these 2 dates here. We will just say what we're seeing. That's how video evidence works. You don't need to walk away from it assuming what you saw. Just tell us what you see. And she thinks that a jury is going to play this dumb game in a court of law. Good Lord. Candace, I know you're listening, you dummy. You dumb alien. You dumb demonic alien. Stop saying, assuming I saw. Play the video. I'm not watching it, but play it. And then let people say what they're seeing. You don't need to guess. God. This is the moron that, boy, everybody wants to think she's an investigator, but she can't describe what she's seeing in video evidence because she's an idiot. Good grief, Candace, you're mind-numbing. Yeah, people lose brain cells. We have to read a whole... Well, when I tell you I have to do things that, like, it's just intellectually stimulating after watching and listening to Candace. I don't know who's worse, her or Umar Johnson. Can't make this up. Candace, stop telling us you assume you're seeing something. Either you see it or you don't. That's not how you break down video evidence, you dumb girl. I'm not gonna sit here and sugarcoat anything with Candace. I don't owe her nothing. She don't pay my bills. Gary, you stupid.
Maybe we should be looking below. Charlie was shot from the back. Charlie Kirk was shot from the front. Charlie may have been killed by a rigged explosive device that was on him.
Candace Owens basically took a full segment of her show to make...
All right, y'all. We'll get to our Joshua Carter tomorrow. Let's get back over to Ryan. Y'all ready? We're going to get this watch party going. I'm excited. I haven't seen Ryan. I haven't seen this video, so we're here for it. But we had to get Milk Bar in because so y'all can understand, like, this dummy doesn't even know how to tell us what video evidence is showing because reasons. She's stupid. So here we are. Oh, man. Shout out to all of you all. I appreciate you all. Are you a It's a Wife? Oh, no. Y'all saw It's a Wife comment? the Candy has to get so mad. Bless your heart, girl. You know that stuff don't work over here. I just laugh at you. You understand? It's a wife. Are you a wife? Or are you a husband? Which one is it? Lol. Just BC, you haven't seen the hours of shows disproving the shot theory. What theory? No, the videos we've seen, what I see is him being shot in the neck with a bullet from a gun. I don't see explosive devices because I know what explosive devices does to the human body. I don't expect you to understand science of human anatomy or biology because Candace doesn't. And she doesn't teach you all anything. So I'm not here to expect you to know these things. But for her to walk away from watching hours of videos talking about, I assume that I saw something, then what the heck is she watching? Why did she have to assume she saw something? Oh, you so precious. God. I can't even get mad at these clowns because all you can do is laugh at this. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Because she should not be walking away talking about assuming that I saw this. What do you mean? Either you saw it or you didn't. It's a video. You mean you clearly don't care about Charlie, but we do. We who? I don't care about what demons think or feel. I don't. Or cult members or bots. I don't care about none of those three things. I could care less what a demon, a bot, or a cult member thinks. I don't care. I say that with all the love that I have in me. I don't care. That does not work over here. Call me mean all day. I don't care. Bots aren't real. Demons are demonic. And cult members are brainwashed. I don't care about what either of those three things feel or think. Not at all. We're going to keep laughing at you. Can't make this up. Let's get to it, y'all. Hit the phone where you can see it here. Let's go.
Hey everyone, so welcome to the first episode of the Counteroffensive with Ryan Mauro. I'm obviously Ryan Mauro. And I know a lot of people are excited to see what we found in relation to Candace Owens and the people around her. But first, I just want to, enough people have told me, oh, you need to introduce yourself a little bit. My full bio is at ryanmauro.com. I've studied national security, extremism, and intelligence ever since I was a little kid, actually. I was hired when I was 16 years old. That was my first big boy job. I got hired as an intelligence analyst, geopolitical analyst, and that started my career. And then did a bunch of different things. I was an adjunct professor for about 12 years for Liberty and Regent universities. For 10 years, I was the director of intelligence for a counter-extremism group. I worked for Capital Research Center as an investigative researcher covering a lot of this stuff. So I have a background here. I know there are a lot of podcasters who do great work and don't have that background, but I think it is an asset given what we're about to talk about, and you'll see what I mean. If you go to ryanmauro.com, you'll see that I have professional endorsements, and one of those comes from the highest ranking intelligence defector from the Soviet bloc during the Cold War, because he actually knew me. He's passed away now, but he knew me as a teenager. And so he very nicely gave me a testimonial because he was impressed with the particular angle that very few people knew about, which was Russia's propaganda against pro-Western Christianity. That basically they're trying to push a communist, compatible, Marxist version of Christianity, and then as time went on with Putin, it became more of like a czarist, czar, T-S-A-R, like a prince type government. And they were saying that's basically how you implement Christianity. That's what Christianity is supposed to be like. It's supposed to be authoritarian. And so he was familiar with that work and my studying of their disinformation strategies, the influence operations, the recruiting of unwitting assets. And so that's having his testimonial is definitely something that I treasure, but it'll give you an idea as to why this happened, why I was able to see certain things going on with Candace Owens that perhaps other people didn't see. Data points that connected, but you had to really think about them to see these patterns and then see anomalies in those patterns. I have a nonprofit called the Mauro Institute. Again, you go to ryanmauro.com. You can make a tax-deductible donation if you want to. Right now, I'm independent. That's the way I want to be as much as possible. Because one thing I've learned is that when you get too dependent on a right-wing or a left-wing political entity, whether it's media or nonprofit, they muzzle you. It always happens. There's always a big donor that cares about the candidate that they donated to also, that they endorse. That conflict of interest always happens. And that's why foreign influence operations, like some of what we're going to talk about today, a lot of the radicalization that you're seeing on both sides, why that surprised a lot of people, but it didn't surprise me because I was outside of that political ecosystem. But if you're only getting half the picture because you're only hearing one side's echo chamber, then you're going to be confused about the threat to the West, the threat to Christianity, the threat to America, until that is rectified. So I appreciate your support. I'm hoping to remain as independent as I can through that. And so I really appreciate the people that donated to make this happen. There is an article of mine I want to, well, actually, first, let me explain why I'm calling it the counteroffensive just real quick. After Charlie Kirk was martyred, exactly 1 week after, I appeared on the Charlie Kirk show, and Glenn Beck was the guest host. And Glenn Beck put Rush Limbaugh's golden microphone on Charlie's desk to honor him. And before I went on air, well, I was actually booked for this project I was doing, I had heard, I think it was Stephen Miller, that said that Charlie's like next big thing he wanted to do was to expose and go after those who were funding pro-violence sentiment and violence itself, criminality, obviously from the far left, since it's from Charlie's perspective. But I'm sure anyone in favor of violence and criminality, he was not a fan of. But that's what he wanted to take on. And when I saw that, and I realized that the project I've been working on, which was tracking the George Soros's network, their money going to pro-Hamas groups, pro-terrorist groups, even I would argue domestic terrorist groups that endorse criminality and violence in certain situations. And I traced about $80 million going from the Soros network to these groups. And I put together in a report, and I contacted Glenn Beck and I said, do you want to do something with this? And then he said, you know what? I'm guest hosting Charlie Kirk's show. I think that'd be the right spot to release it. And so we did. And when I released it, I said the counteroffensive begins today. And I meant that. That was not hyperbole to me. I had a specific plan in mind to launch a counteroffensive after what happened to Charlie, to try to minimize the chance that it could ever happen again. By the end of that night, when we released this, it was in the hands of the president, I believe. And then within 2 or 3 business days, the New York Times was reporting that the Justice Department had authorized an investigation based on my report that I released on the Charlie Kirk show 1 week after he was assassinated. So that's why I call it the counteroffensive. And the reason I'm calling this opening first episode about cracking the Candace code is because only when I put all the data points of her life, all of the odd things, all of the extreme things that she's done, did I see patterns, associations, anomalies, things that you would normally just say, oh, that's a weird coincidence or that's a quirky personality. And what I realized was, especially lately, how much scripting was going on. How certain words being chosen to give certain impressions that something's not planned when it clearly is, that she's not being proactive, she's being reactive to something when that's not true. And I think by the end of this podcast, you'll get an idea of what I mean by that. But I'm going to give you a forewarning. Right up until now, I can't remember last time I felt this sick. So I actually have a garbage can next to me, to my right here. So I'm hoping that I don't puke when I'm on air. But if I do, at least it'll be funny. It'll be embarrassing for me, but it'll be funny. So that's what I just have to warn you about. Oh, it looks like YouTube isn't working. Alex Cuesta, who is helping me out, you should check out his channel, Alex Cuesta Show. Tell the narrative for what? Yeah, okay. He's telling me to tell the audience that I'm being persecuted and my YouTube is being targeted for the information I'm about to reveal, which is not true. But YouTube isn't working, so I better get that out right now. Sorry, I can't believe I'm putting you guys on hold on my first podcast. And okay, that is embarrassing.
Was his channel? His channel went down?
Let me just set the foundation for this, because what I struggled with preparing this, and I had a much bigger.
Did his YouTube channel go down? So he has a YouTube channel. Because I was asking about that. That's something else. And boy, these bots get mad. They're like stifling free speech is somehow going to stop the video from being made. You don't get to stifle free speech. No.
Plan, but then I got sick, and a bunch of other things happened. But to set a foundation so you can understand the significance of this, because it's really not about Candace Owens. And Glenn Beck did a good job of making that point, because I wrote an article for him called "The Russian Influence Operations Targeting Candace Owens and You." You can find that at glennbeck.com. It's a pretty long report, but Glenn covered it for like 3 or 4 days. And said it was one of the most important things he's ever been involved in covering. So that's something I highly recommend, and that'll show not just the issue with Candace, but you've got to see the broader offensive against the West that's happening, that's going to reel people like her in, and how this can happen slowly over time. But to just take some pieces of that, just what you need to know for tonight, there are 3 kind of like pillars right now that the Russian ideological warfare is designed around, what the influence operations are about. Yes, of course, they do espionage. They want to corrupt anybody that they can. They want to recruit spies, help anyone who will help them, that general stuff going on. But there's like 3 things that they've said, if we succeed in these 3 ways, we can defeat the West. And they have reasonable logic to think that, I'm sorry to say. So the first one is promoting Tsarist Christianity. Like I mentioned before, it's like a prince, bring back the Tsar of Russia, who Putin idolizes. And they are framing that as an alliance between the Orthodox Christians and the traditional Catholics, as they're called. So there's a battle within Catholicism that they want to win, as well as within Christianity overall. And they are pro-Islamist, pro the Iranian regime. They actually believe, and you'll see this in the Russian Orthodox Church, Moscow's branch of that, official preaching, like an actual decree on their website, endorsing these end times prophecies that people like Alexander Dugin and other people who preach your ideology say means at the end of time, it's going to be a big battle between the Antichrist, who's going to be Jewish, of course. And that's going to probably come from Israel, and it's going to be the Zionists in the West on one side, and then the good guys are going to be this Orthodox Catholic alliance led by Russia, and then the jihadists led by the Mahdi, the apocalyptic messianic figure in Islamic end times prophecy. So they actually have begun endorsing Islamic end times prophecy and saying it unites with ours. And the reason they do that is that they can geopolitically have an alliance that takes on the West. And they can get over some of those divisions. So they're promoting Tsarist Christianity. There's those prophetic elements, but fundamentally what it's about is that it says Western democracies and freedom doesn't work with your faith. It doesn't work with morality. It doesn't work with traditional values. That the cost of freedom and having a constitution like the United States has is your faith goes away. People become immoral. The society collapses. So you have to choose. You have to choose either your faith first over your country, or your country over your faith. Meaning, choose the United States, the Constitution, but then allow your faith to be damaged. So you're putting your faith second. Or you say, you know what? I'm going to put democracy and the Constitution and Western values on the back burner, because it's one or the other. And I'm going to endorse a theocratic, authoritarian type government, a czar or something like it, or at least endorse it overseas and favor it whenever it comes to a conflict with the United States. And so I outline that because I think in churches across the country, that's going to become a debate. Like right now, it sounds fringe, but you look at the number of followers it's getting, how much effort Russia's putting behind it, and it's clear that just like the Muslim American community had to deal with the Wahhabists and the Iranian regime's ideology, Christians are going to have to deal with Putin's and Dugin's Tsarist Christianity. But make no mistake about it, it may not be communism by name, but it pretty much is compatible. From the perspective of Putin and those like him, it's like an upgrade. These dictators with big egos, they'll follow an ideology, but they always want to put their little spin on it. They want to be a little bit better. So to them, it's an upgrade. And Charles Clover wrote a book about this, and he describes a moment in 1987 when communism was in crisis. And he says that the Moscow Communist Party leader and a later high-level official, Yuri Prokofiev, led a team in examining how to rebrand communism because they realized it was failing. They had to do something. And they actually put together a large operation to study and come up with a plan. And the plan was to develop, there's a quote, a new Soviet ideology that fuses secular communism with a theological meaning. They realized they couldn't beat God. They couldn't beat Christianity. So we'll just make it ours. That was the thinking. And it would, another quote, begin by resembling a fusion of communism, nationalism, and Orthodox Christianity. And that's clearly what happened. So when you have people like Candace Owens saying like, oh, Russia's no longer a communist, that just proves that you have outdated thinking. No, she doesn't understand the evolution of the ideology. She doesn't understand that that's a valid comment to make. And some of them probably are still communists and just faking it. And then others have upgraded it with this theological meaning. It doesn't matter. It's still evil. It's still anti-Western. And so that happens. And then the same guy who invented this is important. Prokofiev, who oversaw the effort. I mean, he didn't invent it, but he oversaw the study group. He goes on to something else. So he said, all right, that worked. So probably knows what he's talking about, right? And he said, all right, well, next objective, we have to destroy the civil society. And this is our weak point. And this is why I value Charlie Kirk so much, because I'm a political independent. I have voted Democrat and Republican in the past. I'll probably in the future. I'm actually not passionate about most political stuff. I just kind of have my own little thing. I narrowly focus. And I honored Charlie so much because I disagreed with him. I still found him effective. Like, to me, it's almost insulting to reduce someone's value to how many points they can score for your team. Like, well, I'm a conservative or a Christian or a Republican. And, so he did a good job of vindicating my opinion and helping me show how smart I am. Like, okay, there's value in that. You agree with what he's doing. But I think there was something deeper because even when people disagreed with him, the love that he showed people is the answer to so much toxicity that's being promoted by foreign powers in our civil society. It's an attack. The way he would answer substantively, I love that. Whether I agree with him or not, he always had a fact. There was always a source. Like you could always have a constructive conversation. I never met him or talked to him, but in those moments, you could see that he would bring the conversation to a constructive place, and he genuinely loved the person who was insulting him. Especially as he got older. As he got older, you could see that even more. And so, to me, his value was in trying to save American civil society. Because all of our adversaries are absolutely correct that that's our weak point. I mean, can your country function if you can't have a healthy civil society? If y'all hate each other, you can't listen to each other, you can't tell right from wrong, you haven't adapted to social media. I mean, that's the weak point. So anyway, the guy who said
I'm glad he said that. Adapting to social media, it's more so just adopting to people's opinions, other people's opinions and ideas. When you're trying to purport something as a fact, that's not a matter of your opinion. Facts are hard truths that we can all agree upon. That has to be supported by some documentation evidence. So what you see in a video is something that everyone else should see, unless we have vision issues that are getting in the way of this. If you say you see something moving on someone's chest, shouldn't we all see that? You don't need to walk away from video evidence saying, assuming I saw this. You don't need to assume. There's a difference in video evidence, which is factually based, because it's based on what you can see, what the jury can see, the judge can see, anyone can see watching it, versus you having an opinion of something. But you can't say your opinion is a fact if it's not factually proven. If there's no evidence or documentation to support it, it's not a fact. It's just your opinion. Leave it there. And when you have people like Candace and Umar's and all these people that walk around here acting like cult leaders that are unable to even accept criticism, then you have them moronic followers sitting here trying to either take down a video or stifle free speech, or they just go out and spam and attack your content, your platform, because it's not in alignment with what they say. We don't have to agree with them. We're not in their cult. We're not in Candace's cult. We don't have to agree with her. If she can't say what she saw in a video, which is concrete evidence that will be used in a court of law, then we can't even have a conversation about a difference of opinion if we can't agree on the facts. That's why when it comes to me personally, and I say this, there's content creators that will bring on her people, all her supporters, and all these thunkheads that sit here and all they do is parrot her talking points. Child, I can't do it because there are fundamental facts that they refuse to accept. You know, the difference between the letter N and the number 9. Candace says she doesn't know the difference or whatever. It's just fundamental facts, definitions of terms, math, science, things that we have to understand and agree on that are fundamental facts before we have a conversation about a difference of opinion. We're talking about something based on, you know, you go out to eat and you get a receipt and you realize that you did not get the correct change back. If we can't agree that 3 + 3 is 6, we can't talk about that receipt. That makes sense. We got to get the fundamentals cleared out first. And that's the problem with the candy asses. Her cult members can't agree that 3 + 3 = 6. All they do is just start over talking and repeating all her crap. If we want to know like what she's saying, we'll just watch her video. They can't make a viable argument for themselves. They just copy, paste, and repeat whatever she says. That's not a debate. That's not an exchange of ideas. You're just reiterating the crap that comes out of her mouth. It's that simple. But if we want to have a conversation where we're exercising our First Amendment rights and exchanging ideas, it needs to be your own opinion. And it can't be far-fetched to where I have to go to some alternate reality to understand what the hell you're telling me. I don't want to do that. I'm not going to your alternate reality. I'm not joining your cult. I'm not accepting what your cult leader says to be facts when she can't tell us what's 3 + 3. It's that simple. But if you can't even come up with your own thought and opinion, what are we talking about? You're just repeating her. I just go watch her crap. There's a reason why we don't really react to Candace like that anymore. Y'all notice that? God. Candace, you give everybody a headache. I have to think about the mental health of the Lady Luck Club and the Luxes. Because you give everybody a headache. I lose brain cells. Like, it is ridiculous. You can't make this stuff up. You got to sit here and go and figure out how to, you know, do word puzzles and stuff after listening to Candace. Child, you think I want to listen to her cohorts and her cult members? We don't want to listen to her. Any idea of exchanging opinions and having a difference of opinions, agreeing to disagree. Yeah. Can we sue Candace for that? Mental distress. Your Honor, Candace gave me a headache for 8 months straight, and we're asking for damages. It was the sound of her voice. She refused to change the tone. It was just very monotone and straightforward. Then she said she had direct sources of contact living in Erica Kirk's building. Of course, obviously, you know, because reason. And she's stalking. Oh, man. Like, good God, girl. I'm losing brain cells. You're welcome. I gave away the 10 memberships, y'all, just as a FYI. Because I have to just do it while I think about it, because I'll forget. So every month we get 10 free memberships to give away on the channel, and that's what happened. So I gave out the 10 memberships. So if you got one, shout out to you. It's for 30 days, so enjoy it. And then again next month, and this randomly picks people. But yeah, now we gotta we gotta get on one accord with what's considered factually based versus what's an opinion. And the candy asses need to learn how to get over it. We don't have to accept your cult leader's nonsense. We owe her nothing. We don't have to agree with her. Until she tells us what's 3 times 4, we will not agree with her. We won't agree. She's got to conquer math before she gets to algebra. Does it make sense? We got to conquer the basics before we start talking about something a little bit more complex. Like, that's the thing that is hard to overcome. People not being able to accept when they're wrong or when opinions are opinions. You walk around talking about, this is my truth. Well, I don't care. We're going based on what the dictionary defines the word truth to be, not your opinion. Your opinion is your opinion. It does not make it the truth. Those words are being construed up to the point where the definition and the meaning and concept are being skewed. It's no different than somebody weaponizing the Bible. Don't come over here just quoting scriptures to fit your moot point. Your truth, if it's not based on the finding of fact or evidence or documentation, is irrelevant. It's your opinion. And you're using the wrong term. Have a debate with them goons if you want to. They give you a flat-out headache. They worse than her. No, before I debate the candy asses, I will just listen to Candace and hear all this crap come from her. And you know, we have to find ways to regain them brain cells.
To adopt this Christian version of communism, the czarist Christianity. Said, well, we're going after the West Christianity, we have to go after their civil society. Those two things are linked. And so he created the Strategic Culture Foundation, and he led it until 2015. That's a pretty long time. And it's still active. It's sanctioned by the US government because it's a front for Russian intelligence, and it's still doing its thing. It's promoting what's called active measures. And here's a quote from the Treasury Department. Pay close attention to this. It publishes conspiracy theorists, giving them a broader platform to spread disinformation while trying to obscure the Russian origins of the journal so that readers may be more likely to trust the sourcing, meaning narrative laundering. That's what's called, narrative laundering. So get your material to be spoken by Americans that other Americans trust, someone who can deliver it better. And you can tell by how it describes their strategy. They also understood that those conspiracy theorists are going to be the same one to buy Russian disinformation. You know, so you get to make society toxic by promoting conspiracy theories. And when people believe in those conspiracy theories, you know, there's just a Zionist conspiracy behind everything. You get hopeless. You don't believe in the American dream anymore. You become anti-government, anti-establishment, anti-everything. It helps foster this idea that you should be almost like a rebel or a dissident, because you can only implement a conspiracy if you have immense power. So if you're spreading conspiracy theories around about everything, you're just drilling that theme. Bad guys have immense power over you. What are you going to do about it? Eventually, you got to fight back. And it doesn't matter whether conspiracy theory is believed by that person. It's just repetition. It's just, they understood the value of just getting that thinking in Western society. And they understood that same type of thinking would lead people to buy Russian propaganda. And they're right about that. So that's the second plank. The first is the czarist Christianity. The second one is attacking civil society through conspiracy theories that then open the door for disinformation. And the objective is what some people call discourse collapse. To make it impossible for discourse to happen really at all, if you can. Make it so people hate each other. Make it so that, and this has been extensively written about, make it so that people become apathetic, that they just go, I can't tell what's right and what's wrong. There's so much propaganda, AI, that I never know what's right and wrong. So I'm just either not going to pay attention. And from the Russian perspective, that means you're neutralized. You're a non-factor. Or I'm just going to resort to my tribal impulses. I'm sure that my team is right, and I'm just going to stick in my echo chamber, and because that's all I can handle, whether the person admits that to themselves or not. Let's see. Alex says, got YouTube to work. Okay, and throws up on X. So, yeah, discourse collapse is basically, that's what happens before everything goes to hell in a handbasket. Because you can't, if you can't have discourse that's healthy and constructive, then it just turns into fighting and bitterness over time. If you look at George Washington's farewell address, which I recommend everyone read at least once or twice a year, you'll see he forecasted a lot of this. It's almost as if the Russians read that and said, thank you, George Washington, for telling us your weak points and how to exploit them. Now that leads to, like I said, the ripping apart of America. You make America kill America. And so there's Alex's, maybe you can pull it up. There's a quote from Alexander Dugin. You search Dugin in there. This guy is kind of like the point man for influencing MAGA and conservatives and Christians, which is amazing to me because I first learned about him. I remember talking about him in like 2002, and I was like reading his material. I think it was translated by someone else. I was reading excerpts. I was like, this is crap. I know that the military in Russia is studying it like he's this great philosopher, but it's not smart. He's not compelling. As an individual, he's not a good messenger. And I figured that he would rise up mentors because this doofus couldn't do it himself. And then here we are, and Alexander Dugin is now friendly with, being promoted by people like Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Alex Jones. You see them right there. So that's a meme I made. And that's just the quote. I don't know if the audience can see it. By the way, Candace Owens, she downplays the influence of Dugin on her. She was, I haven't even met him. In fact, I'm only considering meeting him because all the Zionist lore. This is a tell with her. Whenever there's something that she's proactively seeking to do or planning, and it gives her an anxiety, there's something about it that she sees as risky, she always makes it sound as if it's a random, unplanned thing triggered by her opponents. Like you'll see this time and time again. I don't even know if she knows she does it sometimes. But this quote, this is like the killer quote that everyone has to know because it's kind of the key to everything. So Alexander Dugin, again, being promoted by these people. Candace owns two of his books. It's hard to get through a chapter. What's she doing with two books? So that means when I'm about to read, she knows. And definitely from the criticism she gets, because she responds to it. This quote, she knows, and she doesn't stand against him. She stands with him. So this quote is from his 1997 book, Foundation of Geopolitics. He says that Russia must weaken, demoralize, deceive, and ultimately defeat the enemy as much as possible, referring to the West. It is especially important to bring geopolitical turmoil into the U.S. domestic reality by encouraging all kinds of separatism, various ethnic, social, and racial conflicts, and actively supporting all dissident movements of extremist, racist, and sectarian groups that destabilize internal political processes in the U.S. At the same time, it makes sense to support isolationist tendencies in U.S. politics. The theses of those, often right-wing Republicans, circles that believe that the U.S. should confine itself to its domestic problems. This state of affairs is highly advantageous to Russia. So that's the plan to beat us in terms of foreign policy, geopolitics, and ultimately to destroy us, to make America, rip America apart. So anyone who is promoting a guy like that, there's an issue there. And he's still obscure enough that merely knowing who he is weird for your average commentator. How'd you hear about him? Why are you interested in him? Why'd you read his material and then decide to take in more and then promote him? Some of these people that have friendships with him, like Tucker Carlson, I think has a friendly relationship. Alex Jones, definitely. what goes on there that makes this guy so compelling for you to want to maintain a relationship with him? So there's things that go on in that process that I don't know, but are definitely significant. Hopefully we'll know one day. So now let's apply it to Candace Owens and some of the things we're going to reveal. Now I want to set expectations, very, very clear, because I was getting some weird texts from people. I didn't find something like her engineering Charlie Kirk's death. Okay, I didn't find that. I didn't find her trying to pay Hamas to bomb Ben Shapiro's synagogue or anything like that. But I still found something that's extremely significant and then becomes much more significant when you notice the pattern and what it fits inside. And the way I was able to see this and saw it more and more is I took a whole bunch of texts that laid out the process for recruiting an unwitting asset for an influence operation, and then how to launch an influence operation and the different stages it takes, all the way to this highest level, what it finally ends up in. And I took what those features are and I combined them together and I wrote out what each phase looks like, what to detect in each one. And I compared it to the chronological data I have about Candace Owens and her associations, her life, her rhetoric. It was an unbelievable match. I mean, it really is. The tradecraft of how each phase is supposed to go. Back in 2018 was when Russia linked influence operatives were openly trying to reach out to her and Turning Point USA, but they really zeroed in on her and somehow picked up on that flattery was the way to do it. So I talk about that in my article for Glenn Beck, and then I have a lot more of that. But that's why I call it cracking the Candace code, is because you kind of need to have that framework to put all of that together. But even with that, for those that don't know, I broke the story about her lying about her trip. She said, I'm going on a family vacation to Russia. And there was outrage. But I noticed the way she said it, they're just little tells. And it also was weird that there was another story there. And then myself and then two others, Guy Restitutor on X and Eyepatch Man, who work with me and just do incredible work, helped me find out within a day what the true purpose was. And that was to speak at the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum, which is organized by Putin's top advisors, Russian intelligence, and is basically a venue for recruiting Western collaborators, specifically on their panels.
Y'all, shout out to everybody tuning in. Y'all hit that like button. Candace, why would you need to hide that? That's my question. Why not just say that flat out? You don't care what we think or feel either way. Why would you not just say, I'm going out here to Russia to speak on a program about something economic, blah, blah, blah. I mean, if you truly don't care what people think, then why be scared to say that? Why is that something that people had to find out the hard way? She knew she was speaking on this engagement. This is not something they planned last minute, y'all. I want y'all to keep that in mind. Y'all do understand that they planned this stuff months in advance. And I played a clip from her video where she said that she would rather be Russian and she just wants to, she said, I think I should go to Russia. She knew where she was going 6 months ago. This isn't new. She wanted to use this fake. She think we have some outrage. Girl, listen, Candace, I for one, and I want you to hear me and hear me good, you dumb heifer. I for one don't care if you leave the country at all. I hopefully one day you'll leave Earth, leave the planet, leave us alone. I just didn't want you to come back. You stay your ass over there. You want to go to Russia? Bye, Felicia. Bye, Felicia. Don't come back. Why would she need to hide that? No, it took him and another person, a couple other people to figure out that she was speaking for some for. You would think that would be something they would announce in their country, in Russia, right? This is not the first time they've done this. My understanding that they do this something similar to this at least once a year. That's why I said something like this, you don't just plan last minute. She knew months in advance that she was taking her dumb ass over there to some economic forum. People should have known it was a red flag when they saw economic in the title. Candace, what's 3 times more? This is what I mean by you can't conquer the simple things. You can't get to something where you're talking about economics if you don't know what 3 times 4 is. What you mean? That didn't hurt my feelings at all. Candace, we were not insulted over here. We were insulted at the idea of you trying to come back and pretend like everything is cool and you're going to influence us to be like Russia. The hell you will. No, you will not, you dumb heifer. You can't make this up. She knew that she was going over there. She knew that. For at least 6 months, she knew. And then she got, you know what? I had TR, you're absolutely right. She tried to speak on behalf of Americans. No, girl, you don't. Candace, you barely speak for all of it for women or mothers. Girl, you definitely do not speak on behalf of the United States of America. She should have certainly registered with FARA. You going over there trying to pretend like you're somebody's ambassador. We're not playing it. She knew 6 months ago she was going over there. We cracked that code. Hey, Ryan, we got something in common. The LLC cracked that code. We knew 6 months ago. She had already said she going over there. But the way she tried to handle and can cover this all up, it's like, this is so stupid. You know your dumb bots don't care what we think or feel. We don't care how they think or feel either. Candace, you will not be dictator of the United States. Tucker Carlson will never be president. He can kick rocks. And at the end of the day, because we're not in the mood to be represented by a crackhead Mickey Mouse. He can't even laugh right. Weird ass dude. Tucker Carlson is weird. Something's off-putting about him. And he's a punk. He's sipping for Candace. Why would we vote for somebody that is willing to be a simp for Candace Owens? No, we're not voting for him. He doesn't even laugh like a man. We ain't doing this. Candace, you and your little weird simps, you, John Mappin, Tucker Carlson, all these little simps, Brandon Tatum, all these folks that sit here call themselves men and they sipping for you. Project Constipation, all of them can kick rocks. Baron Coleman, the one that keep confusing as a woman. Ian Carroll, whatever. I don't care what he is. He's stupid. Hey, kick rocks. Kick rocks. And you trying to speak for all Americans over there? What an insult. And then they ask you if you ever think about becoming president. You talking about you going to be a dictator. Nope. Stay over there. Don't come back. We don't do dictatorships. No. Keep your dumb ass over there. Don't come back over here. You try to speak for Americans and then you want to come back over here with that BS and you know they tracked you. You know you have a track on you somewhere. They're following you everywhere you go. You know that. They're still following George. Talking about he go fishing in Russia. Does he? Well, those mermaids must be something else. Flipping and swimming for him. And stay over there. No one told you had to come back. Bye, Felicia. You don't speak for us. You do not advocate for us. You don't represent us. You're not our ambassador. Nothing. You can show us those financials, though. Because if you get money from them and they pay you off, you should stay over there. Don't come back. Why would you want to come back if they're paying you money? Where's the tax filings, Candace, for Blexit? What did you do with Blexit again? Because last time I checked, you ran it into the ground by $1.72 million. Did you tell them that when you were supposed to be speaking at its economic forum? That you are the last person that should be talking about economics? Because you ran Blexit in the ground by $1.72 million. Did you tell them that? Did you tell them that you do not know the difference between the letter N and the number 9? Candace, did you bother to tell any of them that? You wanted all that attention. You got it. You knew 6 months you were going to go over there. We cracked that code. My question is, why didn't you stay over there? Keep your dumb ass over there. That way, him and all his bots, all of them, can sit here and keep sipping for you. Leave us out of that. Leave us alone. Leave the United States of America alone. We're not in the mood. Leave us alone. You want to go over there, hang out, and play footsies with Alexander Dugan while George Farmer's fishing for mermaids. George, how did you get that black eye? I know he's a little punk ass. He doesn't stop any of this at all. He's cool with all this happening. And yeah, he wants to be a citizen of the United States. George, we ought to revoke your citizenship. Have you deported. Get out of our country. It's the fact that they want to keep coming back with this nonsense. No, stay where you at. Candace, you didn't have to even hide that. I figured out you said this 6 months ago. I would rather be Russian. Oh, okay, cool. Bye. Candace says she would rather be Russian. We're not stopping you. You just can't be that over here in the United States of America. You have to be Russian in Russia. Take Tucker Carlson's punk ass with you next time you go back. And all y'all stay over there. You, your coat, him, the deranged Mickey Mouse costume he played footsies in. Like all y'all stay over there. Take Megyn Kelly with you too. Can't make this up.
And the key objectives, according to investigative documents that were published, were to go after foreign influencers and have media partnerships with them. There's a lot of honeypot stuff that goes on. It's just a dirty place. Jeffrey Epstein and his Russian assistant were involved in it. Like, it's ground zero for that type of stuff. And they decided that Candace Owens would be a good speaker there to speak on a panel for about 5 minutes about the big families and pro-family media and things like that. And she spoke on a panel. Like I said, the panels are recruitment pipelines, according to the documents that are out there and the other open source information. So she tried to cover it up. She lied about it. And then when she came back, she tried to say that basically she asked for an interview with Putin.
Barney, I'm gonna be very clear with this. I want you to hear me good. Whether you think it's tedious or not is irrelevant. When a country desires the downfall of an entire nation, we don't owe them anything. We can have our opinion. You believe it's tedious. We believe it's important. What we don't do is treason or traitors. Expecting us to become like them, we say no. God said no, we're saying no. The answer is no. Whether you think we should have an opinion, it's what you feel. It's how you feel. We say no. Candace thought she would come back and just try to shape and mold the U.S. to be like Russia. We told her kick rocks. We don't need to be shaped and molded like them. Whether the citizens understand what's happening or not, the government wants the downfall of the United States as a whole nation. That includes everyone in it, including us Americans. Now, I don't know what you are. You could be a bot. But understand, and I want you to know this. I don't care that you think it's tedious. I don't care. You understand me on that? We don't have to agree. Whether you think it's tedious, I believe is important. We have the right to have our stance. We owe them nothing. That's part of the problem. They want our downfall. And we're not having it. And it's just that simple. And the next time Candace goes over there, she can keep her little bum ass over there. She does not speak for us. We don't play footsies with a country that wants the entire country of the United States to fail. No. You got citizens over here in the U.S. that could care less of what's going on in Russia. Okay. The majority of us does not want another country to come for us and to try to tear us down as a nation. We're not doing that. And we're not going to have Candace trying to speak for us over there. We're not an ally of theirs. The end. We don't have to be. We don't owe them that. We owe them nothing. You understand? You can believe it to be tedious. It's not even debatable. You feel it's tedious. We feel it's important. The end. We don't have to agree on it. There's nothing you can say to change our minds. That's the determination we have here as Americans. We're not playing footsies with a country that wants the United States of America to fail. That's it. And I'm going to keep saying that because this is my platform. You don't have to listen. Bless your heart.
And then she does that every year. Again, she's trying to say no anomalies. This is just routine. Everything's always unplanned and routine when she talks about things. And so they wouldn't give her the interview with Putin, but they said, oh, you know what? If you just stay a little bit longer, there's a big coincidence. You're here when this big forum is going on. Maybe you can speak. And coincidentally, they were able to fit her in. And so she had this short vacation that was shorter than 1 week. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And just so happened to be able to expand it so that she could accommodate that and have a last minute booking at this event. So it's a lie and then lying about lying, basically. And I have a timeline that I put on X. It's clearly not true. We found out about it the day after she announced her so-called family vacation. And so there's just no way. And all the way back on May 4th. And this is key. May 4th, if any of you guys are making a timeline. That is when she responded to my Newsmax segment with David Harris Jr., where I laid out some of her connections to Russia. And I was saying, look, Russia and Iran amplify her. There's a
This is the funny thing here. You need to stop doing something. Says who? Barney, are you gonna like give me that $7,000 that the candy asses keep promising me, or what? How's this gonna go? Telling me I need to stop doing something. It's not the way you start off any statement here with me. That's a hard stop. I don't have to read the rest of that comment. You need to stop doing something. Who you talking to? And what? Child, please. You don't pay my bills. Who you talking to? You trying to tell somebody what they need to stop doing? That's not what we're not gonna do that. You know, that's the beauty of America. You don't have to agree with me. I don't expect you to. But the audacity for you to tell me I need to stop something. I don't even care what else you've read. I don't care. You child, this tantrum you throwing is something else. Who is you talking to up in here? We can't even have a watch party. You talk about the Americans just coming. I don't. That's your opinion. That's your opinion. You don't have to agree. You need to stop. That was a hard stop for me. I didn't even read anything after that. I don't even care. I got the whole comment up here, and I still have not read the whole comment. I don't care. When you say you need to stop, that's right there is my stopping point. Who are you talking to? Well, if you don't cut that out, you don't cut that out up in here. You don't run this. There's the audacity. Watch out. Yeah, I'm gonna send them an invoice. Candace, I'm gonna invoice you. You got your weird asses over here telling somebody need to stop doing something like they run this. Chabu. There are a lot of things you can do, but what you not gonna do is tell me what I need to stop doing. We here in the United States of America. Do not let a bot that does not pay my bills tell me what I need to stop damn doing. Who is you talking to? You don't tell her what to do. You don't pay my bill. Won't even leave a cash app or a super. The audacity. Where's that $7,000? That's what I'm yeah. When I said you need to stop, I stopped right there. That was it. I didn't have to read past that. You run nothing up in here. We, the United States of America, do not take kindly to threats, either foreign or domestic. Nor do we care about how Candace feels about anything. In Jesus' name, amen. We don't care. Come on. And you got the audacity to say, I need to stop something. Who is you talking to? This is the nonsense that didn't get us anywhere. I already said you don't have to agree with me. I don't expect you to. Then they turn around and want to have people's channels and videos taken out because we don't agree. We don't agree. It's so ridiculous. And I try to let the comments fly, but what you're not gonna do is tell me what I need to stop doing. She does not speak for us. She never will. Boy, this $7,000 an hour, man. We're earning it today, I guess. I guess they want me to earn it. Yeah, they want me to earn that 7K. You can't make this stuff up. Like, where you come from? And Barney, I want to be clear with you. What you're not gonna do is tell me what to do. You understand me? I already told you I don't expect you to agree with me. See, this is the thing. They want to sit here talking about, oh, we supported Charlie Kirk and we loved it when he was alive and blah, blah, blah. No, you don't, because Charlie Kirk believed in the First Amendment rights. You have a right to free speech, so do I. I also have the right not to read your nonsense and buffoonery either. And I also have the right to not agree with you. I have the right to disagree with you. But what you're not going to do is tell me what I need to stop doing. I didn't even have to read anything past that point. I don't care. And I won't be reading the rest of that comment either. Because you don't run that up in there. Chabu. All these dumb bots. See, this is how they try to go. And you trying to put down the U.S. I'm not putting down my country. You think I'm going to put Russia over the United States of America? You are out of your mind. You have to be a Russian bot. And the devil is a liar. Hell, it's hot, ain't it? God. All these demons coming out. We're not doing it. I dare not put down my country to try to sit here and to catapult another one. Child, we don't do that up in here. Chabu. I already said you don't have to agree with me. I don't care how you feel. But I'm not telling you what you need to stop doing either. But you're not going to come at me with that. You got the right one today. Oh, Lord have mercy. Sometimes you got to put them in place. We don't do that. Kick rocks. What you're not going to do is tell me what I need to stop doing because you don't control me. We don't do dictatorship over here, especially in the Lady Luck Club. I want y'all to have y'all right to free speech and have your opinion. Telling me what I need to stop doing. You got the right one today. Run up in here when you don't pay my bills. What? Kick rocks.
Reason. They're waging war on Turning Point and Erica Kirk. Because that's how you hurt America. And you hurt America by amplifying Candace Owens, is what I said. She fired back a little bit. RT responded by amplifying her, doing exactly what I said they do. RT, by the way, used to be known as Russia Today. That's like the state media propaganda channel. So they came to her defense. And on May 4th, and when she was responding, she's like saying, you know, Russia's this great Christian country. All these wonderful, nice things that she would never say about America. And she says, I will go to St. Petersburg. And later on, she makes a comment that, oh, I always wanted to go to St. Petersburg. But then if you look at her history, you see that she only in recent years got interested in the Russian Orthodox Church. And she talks about how she wasn't into faith. So you can't reconcile those two things. But what's the point in saying that? Oh, I always want to go to St. Petersburg. Why is she doing that? Because she's trying to say there's no abnormality. It's not timed for anything. There's no objective. She's not being proactive. So it's a nothing burger. I've always wanted to go to St. Petersburg. It's not true. So that indicates that May 4th, she was probably already knew she was going to be booked at that event. But what happened a few days before that? And this is going to set to what I'm getting to that you guys are waiting for. About 5 days before that was when Brian Hartpoles filed that lawsuit. The one that, so she was already getting sued by the Macrons, and they sued her from Delaware. And a lot of people say she's not going to win that one based on especially what happened to Alex Jones. But enough people also say it won't work. You know, that one is, you'll hear arguments on both sides about. But the one with Charlie Kirk's security chief, where she basically implied misconduct in the context of the things that she talks about, that would make her fan base say, all right, well, you must have been involved. And she knows that. So he sued. And then next thing we know, like 5 days later, she's just, she's singing the praises of Russia like she had been doing, but it's especially passionate. I will go to St. Petersburg. I mean, that, and even according to her made up story, it's a last minute thing, right? So if we draw a connection between those two things, it's a last minute thing in reaction to that, I suspect. And I'll explain why. But even in her telling the story, I was going to Russia anyway, just for a few days. And then, last minute I was added. So we can agree that was a last minute thing. And the question is it in relation to the fact that she just got a lawsuit that I'm sure her lawyers told her, hey, you might be in really big trouble. The reason I'm going through all this is because even though I broke the story about that event and how she was speaking there and how dirty it is, and she was on a panel with Russian state propagandists, and including one that was involved in kidnapping Ukrainian children, is just a horrible event. It didn't make sense. The length of time didn't make sense. The purpose behind lying in that way, didn't make sense. She's a mother. She brought her kids to a war zone that the US government tells Americans absolutely do not go to. There was smoke that could be seen as you entered the building on the first day from a Ukrainian drone strike. So even though she gave these interviews about how she was amazed how safe it all was, no sign of conflict, it was all so orderly, there was a drone strike nearby. She still brought her kids in there. She didn't hightail it back to the United States. So that means something really important. And people who have been upset by her conduct will say, oh, well, it must be money. She already has plenty of money. And really, she still is a mother. I mean, it takes a lot of money for someone to put their kids anywhere near where explosions are going off. So I don't think it's money. All right, well, some type of backroom deal, like maybe she just liked, because she was the happiest I've ever seen her is when all those Russian reporters came around her and she posted a picture saying, oh, what a scene. And then the interview she was giving after, she was just beaming. She was just loving being a star. So was it that? Some people suspect so. I don't think so. She brought her kids. She's still a mother. There's only one thing I can think of that would almost make that trip make sense, to a way that even her fan base would say, all right, well, you know what? I kind of get it. What if the threat you face was that you would lose everything, including your ability to take care of your kids? Not have them taken away, but what if you had, you didn't know if you'd lose all your wealth, your home, and everything you worked for, everything you set aside for your kids? And then how would you get a job again? Because who's going to hire Candace Owens, right? Especially if she gets sued. So you won't be able to recover. You can probably see where I'm going with this. And so I'll cut to the chase now. So
Candace, when you figure out the difference between the letter N and the number 9, then you will be employable. She's already proven she's not employable. How many times Candace been fired? PragerU, Daily Wire, TPUSA. That's 3 jobs this girl has lost. 2 of which are literally on the verge of suing her or have sued her or threatened to sue her for breach of contract, for lying like hell. Candace can't keep a job to save her life. Candace, you've had 3 of the easiest jobs on earth. Get in front of a camera and say your script. Because you're still pre-recording, pre-scripting this nonsense from your channel. You're not making this stuff up. You're not that smart. This girl has already proven she's unemployable. She has to work for herself. She can't keep a job working for anyone else. And she's still salty and big mad about being fired from the Daily Wire. She's still mad about that. She is still big mad about the Daily Wire. So Candace doesn't care. Like, Candace knows that she shouldn't be working for anybody. Because all she's going to do is say and do some dumb nonsense, get fired, and then try to go and dog him out. Because it's the only way she can keep attention on herself is by lying like hell and defaming others. And that's it. I mean, she refuses to leave Erica Kirk alone. She keeps obsessing over another grown woman. And she takes out all this venom and vindication against anybody that challenges her or goes against her. Like, you know, like someone should be caring about that. She throws a tantrum because she doesn't know how to accept rejection. Her being terminated is like being rejected. That's what that's comparable to. So when she gets fired, it's like someone's rejecting her and telling her dumb ass no. And she can't stand it. She can't handle it. And then she goes out and she goes on this vindictive revenge spree where she hates them for all of eternity. And she never lets it up. When is she going to stop talking about Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire? Candace, there's a reason why that video had to come out about how you were fired, why you were fired, because you kept lying about it. She didn't tell the candy ass that she was still under contract with TPUSA until last year, November, either. This is the thing. But she's out here attacking and defaming TPUSA. And then turns around and says, please put me on your payroll. Do the right thing. And give me a monthly retainer. I just want some money. Give me money. Money. Because that's all it comes down to with her. It's about the money. Candace does not care if you are defamed or if she's flat out lying on you. She doesn't care about any of that. She doesn't care about any of that. But this is the same person who can't keep a job and it gets mad when she gets fired. Like they're supposed to keep her on payroll forever. God, they don't owe you nothing. I don't know anyone that can just go out and dog out their employer and think they're supposed to remain employed. How does that work? Candace, get me on Kick Rocks. Shout out to all of you all for the support up in here. Look at this. D. Hampton is a new member. Thank you so much for becoming a new member and supporting us here in the LLC. I appreciate that. And of course, I was able to gift out the 10 memberships that we get every month. And Satiric, I also made you a mod again, so you should see the wrench. Is a new member. Thank you so much, Satiric, for the support. March on. How you doing, honey? Thank you for the $20 super. See, what's his name? Barney. This is how it's done, Barney. You still not gonna tell me what to do, but damn. Hola, Miss LFC and Luxters. I'm so happy to be here with you, special people. Mr. Mauro is a wonderful researcher, and I find him to be very credible. He's a true patriot. God bless all of you always. Thank you so much for the $20 super march. I appreciate it. That is fantastic, and I appreciate your support. And I hope all is well with you. You good? I haven't heard from you in a minute. Yeah, you can't make this up. And you getting ads? I don't know what's going on with ads. Is ads playing on y'all end? I have no idea. Is it? Wait. My videos have ads on them. The ads are running on my videos? Good Lord. I'm sorry. It's the Google ads. How we monetize them? Let's get her where she's going next. I say goodbye. Hopefully they keep her. Wherever she goes next, they need to tell her, you can't go back. They need to live stream telling her, oh no, you're not permitted to leave. The Lady Luck Club does not want you to return to the U.S. I don't care about LLC. Let me out of here. Yeah, you can just stay wherever you go. Just stay there. You don't have to. You can't stand the United States of America. Well, you don't have to be here. You know that, right? You don't have to be here. You're certainly not doing anything to make it better. All that nonsense and hoop hollering and stuff she does. And what is Candace Owens doing to make things better? This girl would be dictator if she could, which goes against our whole constitution. What you mean? Girl, you don't have to be here at all. No one will miss you. All your cult members can go with you. Wherever you're going, they can go with you. Bye. Child. I don't know what's happening with the ads, y'all. Let me see. I thought y'all was talking about ads from his end, from the X video. Leave that tiny horse alone. You can make this up. Oh man. Speaking of this case with the Macron lawsuit, did y'all know it was rescheduled? Candace, why you refuse to go to court? Why are you stalling with this? And why does the judge keep permitting all of these rescheduled events? So on June 18th, yesterday, notice was filed from Candace's attorney, Catherine Mauro. Y'all see here it was docketed today regarding notice of motion to dismiss, notice of motion to dismiss and to strike first amended complaint for that hearing is now rescheduled to July 27th at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then you guys see event continue rescheduled. And that's what happened. So now this is being pushed back another month to July 27th. Why? Candace, no one told you to leave the country. Was it all this, the order of Pro Hoc VC? Well, all these attorneys are coming on to the Macron lawsuit. Candace, is that what it is? Well, while we're seeing a notice of withdrawal, did he ever withdraw? Candace, was it all your attorneys that left or just this one? How's this going? It's not your attorney's fault, Candace, that you don't know how to stop dogging out your own attorneys, you dummy. This girl here, man, she is stalling this lawsuit. I've never seen someone want to get to the discovery phase talking about, oh, bring it on. We want the lawsuits. All her minions are sitting here parroting that crap on X. And yet, when it's time for you to go to court, because she had court scheduled for Monday, then you reschedule it. Why? Why is she rescheduling it? If she wants to get to the discovery phase, why does she keep rescheduling it? How is this getting her any closer to the discovery phase? Explain it to all the candy asses that think they understand how court works. How does this get you anywhere close to discovery, Candace? You can't even go to court for your own motion. Candace filed this motion to dismiss, by the way. She wants this case to be dismissed. She doesn't want it to proceed. And with her rescheduling the hearings for her motion that she filed as the defendant, she is showing and proving to people she does not want to go to court. Candace. You have court July 27th at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, you dumb-ass moron. Stop stalling this lawsuit. If you feel that you have a defense, why do you keep stalling it? Go to court. This is your motion, Candace. You dumb alien. She can't help herself. This girl has pushed this hearing back by 3 times now. 3 times this hearing has been rescheduled and pushed back. What are you stalling for, Candace? I know you listening, you moron. Why are you stalling this? You can't, man. The moment that attorney filed that notice to withdraw, I was like, oh, this is going to stall the hearing. And look what it did. It's stalling. It was scheduled April 28th, and then it was rescheduled to June 22nd. And now it's rescheduled. See that? And now it's rescheduled to July 27th. You can't make this stuff up. Candace, this is the opposite of you trying to get to the discovery phase. She does not want this to go to court. Candace does not want to go to court. She doesn't want to get to discovery because discovery works both ways. And she does not want to give up financials regarding anything that can be used to determine a judgment issued against her. The Macrons are bringing scientific evidence with them to prove that Brigitte Macron was born a woman. Because that is a matter of biology, which is science. We don't care if Candace doesn't accept science. We don't care. Neither does the court. Y'all, this is crazy. Her attorney's dropping like flies because she keeps that, you know, I believe one of them, I don't know if all of them are, but one of them, the main attorney, the lead attorney, was Jewish. So y'all remember when she got Loomer, right? And Laura Loomer was the first to say, why are these attorneys working for her knowing that she's attacking Jewish people and they're Jewish and stuff like that? Okay, so I think that response to them withdrawing here was from that Laura Loomer, because this was a couple days after that Laura Loomer session. And I was the first to say, oh, Lord, I hope they don't withdraw right now. Because if they do, she's going to use that as an opportunity to prolong the hearing for her motion. And guess what they did? As soon as this was done, then there was a notice to push back the hearing from April to June 22nd. And I was like, darn, it was like the day, one business day before the hearing. So I think it was like April 21st is when they filed that notice to reschedule it. And it was put on the docket on April 23rd. The hearing was for April 24th, the next day. And it happened again. So this was put on June 18th. It was docketed up on yesterday, or today rather. Notice docketed June 19th. Y'all see that here. For this to be rescheduled again. And court is scheduled for Monday. June 22nd is Monday. They keep waiting to the very last minute, almost like the day before the court hearing, for the request, the notice, and for the event to be docketed. And then it just pushes it back by another good month or so. And for what? The question is, why are they rescheduling it now? Because either way, the defense, they typed up the motion. This is their legal argument to present to the court. And you still have these attorneys here that are filing these notices on her behalf. So are they withdrawing from her case or not? Because if they're not, then why do they need to reschedule it? She still has at least two good attorneys that can still go in to the hearing for that motion to dismiss and make their legal argument and represent her. I don't know why the judge is letting this happen, man. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. She playing. Why does the judge? I don't know, CC. That's a good question. You would think the judge would be like, listen, let me go ahead and get this done. Let's get this done before the next fiscal year starts. Good grief. Judge Rennie need to be like, okay, nope, we're not rescheduling this anymore because we're not seeing why. That's the one thing we're not seeing here. We're not seeing why they keep pushing this back. And at some point, you know, the petitioners need to push back and say, listen, they rescheduled this 3 times. We're objecting to this. Do not grant them this reschedule. We're tired of it. They filed this motion to dismiss and they keep pushing back their own hearing on their motion. Or at the very least, we'll file a motion for you to just do a ruling on this without a hearing. Because what are they doing? Let the judge determine whether or not this matter should be dismissed without the hearing. Then they can just type up their legal arguments in a brief, and then let the judge do, you know, just a ruling on that without a hearing. Because if Candace don't want to go to court, why should it stall the whole case though? Oh man, this is so irritating. Oh, the judge need to stop playing this. Let them play these games like this. What's going to happen if they don't serve snow? A default judgment will be entered. Let's see what's going on with that. Because this was supposed to be what, 21 days? We went over the update of that lawsuit. So let's see what's going on. Because we already looked into that. They're not playing. The U.S. Marshals. Let's see here. Okay, so here's the latest update for the Brian Harper lawsuit. Since Candace is playing around with the Macron lawsuit because she's a punk. Candace, you're a coward. You're a coward, Candace. You do not want to go to Discovery, you coward. You are a coward, Candace Owens. You're a coward. You said all that nonsense, and then they sue you, and they want to take you to court, and you're dodging court on your motion that you and your attorneys filed to have the entire matter dismissed and the amended complaint struck. And then you get turned around and get hit with the federal lawsuit. Brian Harper said, gotcha. So y'all see this event was done on June 16th. Motion for attorney Jacob William Roth to appear pro hoc vice for Brian Harper. So he has a motion for leave to appear Jacob Roth. So it looks like he has an attorney, Jacob Roth, Elizabeth Hart. Appear pro hoc vice. Y'all. Oh, his legal team is going to be stacked. Look at this. Motion of Jacob William Roth to appear pro hoc vice. So it's sort of the same thing what happened with the Macron's legal team. You had about 3 or 4 attorneys enter on as pro hoc for the Macrons. This is the same thing. So you have, pursuant to local rule 83.01D, Tara L. Swafford, a member of the bar of this court, hereby moves for the admission pro hoc vice of attorney Jacob William Roth. He is an attorney at Contarino Roth LLC, located, and then they have the address here from Boca Raton, Florida, with the Roth telephone number and email addresses listed for his law firm. He is admitted to practice in the state of Florida and before the U.S. District Courts for the Southern District of Florida, Middle District of Florida, and Northern District of Florida. So that would be all the districts in the state. No disciplinary proceedings, finding of contempt or sanction under 28 U.S.C. Statute 1927 or criminal charges have been instituted against Mr. Roth in any jurisdiction. Mr. Roth agrees to subject himself to the jurisdiction of the courts of Tennessee in any manner arising out of his conduct in these proceedings and agrees to be bound by the code of professional responsibility applicable to Tennessee lawyers and the interpretation thereof by Tennessee courts. Mr. Roth has associated with Tara L. Swafford of the Swafford Law Firm, and then they give the information on that for his appearance as pro hoc vice in this matter. In support of this motion, a certificate of good standing from the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Florida, Exhibit A, and declaration of Jacob William Roth, Exhibit B, are attached. So here's the certificate of service where this was e-filed, e-served to Mitchell Snow. Because he's dodging. He's dodging court. You can't make, but this is priceless. Oh, Candace, your co-defendant is dodging. They had to mail this out to him and e-serve the opposing party for Candace. Here are the exhibits attached. So this is just certificate of good standing from Florida Bar Association. You guys see the bar number there. And then Exhibit B is the declaration of Jacob William Roth, basically saying he's a licensed attorney in the state of Florida. And then he just kind of confirms what was the ending portion of the motion. No disciplinary proceedings by any disciplinary authority, finding of contempt or sanction under 28 U.S.C. Statute 1927 by any court or criminal charges have been instituted against me. I declare, here's the thing, Candace, because this is something you don't understand. I declare under penalty of perjury that the foregoing is true and correct to the best of my knowledge. Something Candace cannot do. She can't declare anything under any penalty of perjury at all. Candace would flat out commit perjury because she doesn't know how to stop lying. Further, the declarant says not, and then dated and e-signed. There you go. So this is the latest filing here. So there's another attorney representing Brian Harper. It's something else. Oh, his legal team is going to be stacked. Meanwhile, Candace has what, 2 attorneys, and you still have your co-defendant Mitch Snow's down behind, dodging service. Nothing has been requested for a default judgment against him yet, and it takes 21 days from the date that he is served by the U.S. Marshals for them to go ahead and request a default judgment against him, because obviously he's not trying to participate in the hearing. He doesn't care. So, okay, cool. We're in a default judgment against you and be done with it. I can't. Boy, this is gonna look so bad for you. Candace has no idea. It's like, this dude is messing up this guy. I thought you wanted to get to the discovery, Candace. Candace, I thought you wanted to get to the discovery. I thought you wanted to get the discovery. Artie? Oh, what's wrong with Artie? Artie Trolls, you okay, honey? Oh, poor baby. We were praying for him. He's all right. I have to leave him a comment over on X. Artie, we praying for you, honey. What's going on, Nikki for freedom? The U.S. Marshals are going to be serving Mitch Snow. You can't make this up. I'm looking for something to be entered by next week. If they do file a motion for default judgment against Mitch Snow, more than likely it will be filed next week. Hopefully we'll see the event docketed, the document docketed and the event updated to the case. And so that's what we're hoping for, because he already basically said on X he doesn't care. So he should have. What was all that air in your chest when you was over there on Candace's show lying, talking about you saw him and Erica Kirk? Erica Kirk needs to sue him. That's what I'm waiting on. I'm waiting on her to drop a lawsuit. Please stop sending Project Constitution cease and desist letters. He doesn't care. Porky Pig does not care. Oink, oink. So the only thing he understands is an actual lawsuit. And he does not have an attorney. And I can guarantee you, Erica Kirk, that when you sue him, he will leave you alone, because he's not going to want to go to court either, because they see how their cult leader is dodging court hearings on her motion to dismiss the lawsuit she claims she'll be able to defeat. Candace. No, you won't. Oh, man, this is priceless. Mitch Snow dodges service and Candace is delaying the lawsuit over here for the Macrons. Oh, because her little punk ass don't want to go to court. She does not want to go to court. Candace, you know, once they come in with that scientific evidence, you're done. I hope you know that. Go to court. The rescheduling is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. You're not taking this seriously, Candace. So, I mean, why get upset when we call you a clown? She's not taking any of this seriously. This is how Candace is. This is how she is when it comes down to a matter of court of law. She is a full coward. She's a coward. She's going to try to do the same thing in the Brian Harper lawsuit. Hopefully, Brian Harper's attorneys are like, we're not playing that. We see how you operating with the Macron lawsuit. You taking your time with that. You keep pushing stuff back, asking for extensions and rescheduling the hearing on motions. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Hopefully they put their foot down and say, nope, this is a federal complaint. We're not in the mood. Deny it. Because we'll be at this all day. It's been over a year. And this girl has yet to go to court on her one motion. This is one motion, y'all. Motion to dismiss and strike the First Amendment complaint. Look how long it's taken for her to actually go to court. But you can't make this up, Candace. Just because you keep rescheduling it does not mean that it's going to time itself out with the courts. You understand it's foul. It's not going to time itself out. You pushing it back by a whole year does not time it out. The time does not run out. It's not a timely filing limit. They've already filed it. This is your motion to dismiss. You didn't have to file that crap. And I told you, you're not going to have it granted because you don't have a legal argument on that. They have jurisdiction. These business entities, yeah, these documents here. Candace, you already told on yourself. Courts up there in Delaware have jurisdiction because you told the court here in Tennessee that your Georgetown Inc. and Candace Owens LLC are registered in the state of Delaware. Y'all see that? Delaware. It's the state that is incorporated in. That right there gives the court in Delaware jurisdiction. You told on yourself. 10% or more is owned by Candace Owens Farmer. Because you just can't make this up. Yeah, you don't see George named in this as a co-defendant, do you? Candace. Even George Farmer knows to steer clear of a federal lawsuit. He's so stupid. All right, y'all, let's get back to this.
I disclosed that she was lying about her purpose in going to Russia. And we found out what we thought was the answer, but I still feel like it's inadequate. Well, we found out that there were some other meetings she had that she did not disclose. People who are Westerners and very pro-Russia and moved to Russia. And they're part of Russia's public face to the West. And this group of people who are all associated with each other were pretty much with her from beginning to end. She was hosted by one of them in Moscow. And then as she's traveling around, I guess they were like a tour guide. They were with her, including in St. Petersburg. And by the way, this is relevant. The St. Petersburg event, because Putin is there, is the single most secure spot in Russia at that time and perhaps year-round that someone can get access to. Literally. If I said I need to have an in-person secure meeting in Russia, what can I go to that's not like a private government building, a government office? It'd be this event. That's where you would go. So she goes to this group of people, this interesting group of people that are with her from beginning to end. They go to even to St. Petersburg, which has all sorts of there's data points there, like I just said, extremely secure, connected to Russian intelligence, all of that. We know that the panel she spoke on there was for recruiting Western collaborators. And what's particularly interesting about this group of people is that, as far as I can tell, there aren't really any public indications of prior contact. So it's not visiting an old friend or family member. No reason to go to Russia to meet them. Don't even know how she knows them. And they even have a YouTube channel that they interview people on, but she's hanging out with them, but she doesn't appear on their channel and they don't appear on hers. So why is she meeting with this group of people? How do they know each other? Well, they're associated with a company that's linked to a specific part of the Russian government. So there's no reason to spend time with them for anything else. The only answer can be the company. That's what they do. That's what they specialize in. That's what they offer. Then what does that company do? And I'll get down to details. But we'll speak more broadly right now. So could that company have something to do with her lying about that trip and then lying about the lying and taking this weird trip just to speak for a few minutes on a panel in a war zone, bring her family? Well, let's take a look at the company that those individuals are associated with. Let's look at one of the things that they do. Alex, you have the one screenshot there? Oh, well, you look at that. What do they specialize in? What do they do to make a living? They are the experts in bringing foreigners, but including Americans, especially Westerners, to Russia under a specific program to harbor sympathizers, particularly those who need to get out. You need to get out in a hurry. Can't take risks. This is the group that you go to, the OKA agency. And they assure on their website 100% guarantee of confidentiality.
What?
So that means,
Candace, you don't need to do this. You can just go there and never come back. Bye. Doesn't George go fishing over there? He ain't got no fishing license. George, do you need a license to go fishing for mermaids, or how does that go? Candace, just go over there and don't come back. They specialize in giving people passports. Bye, Felicia. Take your lavender gay husband with you. Candace came back tagged and tracked. And she doesn't even think twice about that. And yet she's pushing back the lawsuit with the Macrons after having lied, saying they're trying to assassinate me with operatives and assassins. No, they just want you to go to court. I don't know what's worse. You lying about them trying to assassinate you, or you pushing back the court date on your dumbass motion that's going to be denied. Girl.
means you have to meet them in person. If you're using that service, there probably isn't going to be a lot of public communication beforehand, because you got to do this stuff in person. Now, it mentions that they're specifically focused on for citizens from countries included in Decree number 702 of the President of the Russian Federation on the provision of humanitarian support to individuals who share traditional Russian spiritual and moral values. All right? Think about that last part. Who share traditional Russian spiritual and moral values. That's what you need to have to qualify. So Candace Owens was friendly towards Russia before. She had talked about possibly becoming Russian Orthodox. What was her rhetoric before the trip and during the trip and all those state media interviews? All about how she shares traditional Russian spiritual and moral values and has abandoned the ones of the West. In other words, I qualify for your program, guys. And that's going on as she's being brought around by the guys, by the company, people associated with the company that does that. And it gets even more. Those associates, the people that are associated with that company, and I'll give specific names and all that, collaborate with someone on the governmental level for this program. Which Putin in the top, like, this is a major thing that they want. They want to bring especially Americans to Russia. It's like a big ideological victory. Build a base. They've been talking about building an American Christian conservative community in Russia, which would basically be an ideological base. That's kind of fallen apart so far, but they're trying to get there. So this is a big deal. It's a big initiative, and you have to qualify for it. And so you have these private companies that are connected to the Russian government. Okay, so these individuals are associated with that. But who is the point person on the governmental side for this? It's a woman named Maria Butina. She was arrested in 2018 in the United States because she had infiltrated the conservative movement as a spy, as an influence agent, and an influence operator. And the U.S. eventually caught her. She pled guilty, and then eventually she ends up in Russia. And she needs a new job, so they set her up at RT. That seems to be kind of their plan in that situation. And then eventually she becomes a Russian official. Now she's actually tasked, based on her history and influencing the American conservative movement, to bring those same American conservatives over to Russia to move. Embrace the ideology, and then those that are really dedicated come to the holy country of Russia, which is how they describe themselves. So she's hanging out with a group that's associated with a company that basically acts on the values that she espouses to move Americans there, particularly when they're in need, because who knows, maybe a lawsuit is going to happen. Something else happens. around the time of Candace's trip. I'm going to go through a bunch of data points.
Candace, you try to run from the Macron and Harper lawsuits by becoming Russian. You understand? Girl. You understand? I mean, you can still attend the hearings virtual. And you moving all your assets and money over there just to try to hide it from 2 lawsuits is so pathetic. It's so pathetic. If that's what you're doing this for, Candace, you are weak as hell. You are a clown, little girl. You are pathetic. You don't need to do all of this. Listen, we will give you to them for free. You kidding me? It shouldn't even take that long. You want to go be Russian? Bye, Felicia. Girl, let me tell you something. The moment they piss Candace off and she tries to speak her mind, they're going to show you exactly what they mean over there when they say, we're not playing none of that BS with you. Go over there and think you're going to talk about, I want to exercise my First Amendment rights to the U.S. Constitution. This is not the U.S. This is Mother Russia. There's no First Amendment yet. And this is going to be just like that. Y'all been brushing up on my skills. Ami does it better. Oh, Ami, mama love you. Ami does it better. But they don't care about our U.S. Constitution over there. You understand? They don't care about your First Amendment or free speech or anything. They will show you exactly how they feel about you when you are no longer valuable to them. Period. The end. Go over there and dare that you're going to sit here and dox them if you want to. I wish you would. Candace, I really wish you would try to dox Putin because he made you big mad. Go ahead and try that and see how they go. Yeah. Oh, man. Candace Owens went to this hotel and she's missing. And that's it. Moving on. That's how they gonna report on that over there. Candace, you go over there and they make you mad and you think you're gonna express your thoughts and opinions on them. Good luck to that. That's it. But you cannot come back over here. Goodbye. Take your little bum ass over there, girl.
Points, and it all makes sense.
Lord have mercy.
I saw dozens, and one of my colleagues said
can't believe
it
this.
was hundreds. All these videos popped up on YouTube. All English language. All saying, basically, come to Russia, and here's how it's comfortable. That was the message. Traditional values, ideological stuff, but it's comfortable. Yeah, all these companies are sanctioned. But look, we have copies. Especially for guys, it was like, look at all the women that love you when we come here. But a lot of it was on logistics, like, oh, the trains. Let me show you how the trains are just like America. Let me show you how Starbucks and all of them are just like America. So when Candace was posting during her trip, those things, like she was saying, oh, look at how Russia just has their own version of Starbucks because they got sanctioned. And people were mocking her, saying like, oh, you're saying if Russia is better than America because they had to steal their branding and basically steal their IP. No, that's not what she was saying. She wouldn't say that. That's crazy. Even if you disagree and think some of what she said is silly, like that'd be a whole nother level because that makes no sense. Oh, I'm better than the ones I have to rip off. No. What she was doing was she was integrated into the specific theme of all those English language YouTube videos that suddenly popped up at the exact same time. That were saying basically it's the same thing. If you look at one of the interviews she gave to the state media, she said, oh, I'm amazed that this is the same thing as America. She's posting pictures saying how, oh, there's so much for children to do here, as if that doesn't exist in America. So what she was doing was she was advertising moving to Russia.
What was there to do over there? What did the kids do other than her taking them to all these different churches and stuff? What did they do for fun? Candace, you know darn well there was nothing fun like that for these small toddlers to do. You out your mind? She didn't even take them to a zoo or anything. She took them to like the little park that was at the resort. Maybe that resort has a little kiddie park area, the playground. Girl, please. And you sit over here making like, it's so much for the kids to do. It's so much fun over here. She was responding to me on it because I say, well, you gonna take them over there and nothing. That's not the type of trip you take small kids on. That's not a family fun trip. It's not for those kids to do. And then that's when we pulled up the hotel. Y'all remember that? So she trying to send photos like, oh, it's so much for the kids to do. Girl, you's a lie. You still a liar, Candace. That was not something for the kid, like a playground. Girl, please. You took them to cathedrals and buildings, and then you sat at summits and forums and did interviews. What were they doing? The whole time you were out going on a media trail, what were the kids doing? Why would they be over there? It's a whole war going on, you moron. Yeah, no, it's so fun to go to a war-stricken area. Yeah, that's safe and fun. Candace, you're a bad parent.
And also, I believe, this is my opinion, making it look as logical as she were to do so herself. Seeding. So it doesn't just happen one day and seem really bizarre. An anomaly, right? She never likes you to see an anomaly in her travel or what she's doing. She's always reactive, never proactive. So she's basically doing an advertisement for Americans to visit and move to Russia at the same time that these English language YouTube videos are popping up all over the place with the same exact message from different angles. But it's all about credit cards. She makes a post about credit cards. She was mocking somebody like, oh, you thought that because your American Express wouldn't work, that you'd have difficulty in Russia? No problem. Like, she's systematically, I don't know if the tour was arranged, if the messaging was given to her or what or how that went. But I will tell you, the messaging aligned up, not with just the generic Russian messaging, but the specific messaging at that time with the objective of not just saying that Russia is this great Christian conservative place. And therefore, if you care about your traditional values, you almost are morally obligated to go there, right? You're serious about your faith, right? Oh, well, if you're serious, how come you're not going there? Look how great it is. But layered on top of that it's comfortable. It's not crazy to move here. Look, it won't be so bad. That's the subtle messaging there. So again, you have to put together these data points, and then you start seeing a much clearer picture. Now, let's talk about the people that she was associated with. We already talked about associated with Butina, the Russian spy that infiltrated the American conservative movement until she was arrested and kicked out. So it looks like she stayed with Joseph Schutzman. She talked about staying with a traditional Catholic family with 8 children. That matches him, except she said Iowa. He's Texan, so maybe someone different, similar family, or she was misdirecting. I don't know. He's the host of Russia Up Close. There was no interview. I mean, is that a little weird? Like, oh, I knew someone who was innocent. Like, oh, you have a YouTube channel. Thanks for hosting me. I'm not going to give you an interview. On June 1st, and this is another pattern you're going to see with pro-Russian, Russia-connected people that reach out to Candace, going all the way back to 2018. This guy says that Candace is divinely guided. He says, divine providence has blessed the trip of Candace Owens with this historical event of the reception of the statue of Our Lady Fatima by the president. Nobody but the Mother of God could have planned such a coincidence. That sounds like an oddball thing. When I collected the statements of what people who tried to get close to Candace do, going back from 2018 all the way up to this, it's all language like this. You're divine. I mean, she said she had superpowers. Her and Charlie had superpowers, right?
Nah, she said Charlie got a third eye and something about astral projection. Ciao, Candace. Don't be putting that demonic stuff on somebody that's not here to defend themselves. Girl, if you don't kick rocks. What did he say? The Mother of God? God is God. No one can do this but the divine Mother of God? Is that what he said?
I mean, you got to have quite the ego to say that. So someone that believes that about themselves, and there is video where she actually says, "This is not my platform." You know, the one that she like teaches people to dislike Jews on. She's like, "This is not my platform. This is God's platform. I am his conduit." So the people that are using these lines, again, going from 2018, when she formed Lexit, to now, there's a reason for that commonality in that type of flattery, where it's over the top, like it's like a joke. Now, Joseph Schutzman, what he was reacting to, because I know that previous statement doesn't make sense. The bottom line is that he's saying only the mother of God could have planned for Candace Owens to be here during this moment. Now, what is that moment? It's called fleeing the West. That's how the post he's quoting describes it. And it's about a French family of 10 who fled to Russia for safety and traditional values. And Putin gave the mother the award of heroic mother. They were persecuted, the Russians say, in France for opposing the LGBT ideology. Now, they were persecuted for their faith by the LGBT advocates. And her husband gave Putin a Virgin Mary statue. By the way, Putin kissed the Quran that a jihadist gave him. So, you know, don't buy into this whole stuff about like him being an authentic representative of Christianity.
I thought he was an atheist. What is this mother of God? Like, no, it's just God. God is God. What? I thought he was an atheist. Yeah, it's so funny. Ben Shapiro read the stats for the percentage of the population that are considered to be Orthodox. It's like 8%. It's not even 10% of the total population. And she's sitting here talking about, oh, I went to their beautiful buildings. How many are there? I mean, is it just enough to count on two hands? With less than 10% being Orthodox Christian anything. And he's like, he just goes with whatever. Isn't he an atheist? Who knew? He said kiss the Quran. Lord have mercy.
This individual gifted him a Virgin Mary statue and stated, "Millions of Catholics pray with Russia. Victory will be ours." Here's another post. Yeah, so this is directly to her. And again, what's this guy doing? The significance of this. He has a show. I forgot to mention that Butina, the government official, the spy, is on there all the time. So that's like almost her platform. They're advertising Westerners and Americans to use this pathway to go to Russia. And he writes, "My takeaway from Candace's visit to Mother Russia, this was one for the history books. Her visit has already touched countless lives in America and Russia, and I believe this is only the beginning. Candace and George are more than a loving couple committed to truth. They are an example of grace under pressure, courage under fire, and faith without compromise. They love Christ our King and his Holy Mother. They stand firm when others bend. They speak when others hide. The taboo is broken. The wall is down. The doors of friendship between peoples are opening, and no swamp politician can stop what comes next. Thank you, Candace Owens and George."
Candace. Did they spell the word peoples as with the S? And Candace can't tell you the difference between the letter N and the number 9. So, it's just right up her alley.
Your courage and steadfastness, you lifted the veil in a way no one else could. Come on. Like, I'll tell you what, I have close friends. I have people I admire. 5 words of that would never come out of my mouth about another human being. And this is like a consistent thing over and over again. So what's going on? It's an influence operation. But specifically, this guy's involved in, again, this isn't a coincidence. It's not just aligning with Russia. It's not just the broad themes of Russia being a group. It's the specific messaging of Americans and Westerners needing to move to Russia, being obligated to do so. And she's probably being hosted by one of the main movers in that, who works with the government official, the spy, who infiltrated the American conservative movement and is now using that expertise to accomplish that objective. How many things have to line up? Come on. Here's another individual. That guy, Joseph Schutzman, he has a co-host. The co-host is known as Moscow Photographer, which, without directly making an accusation, I was point out it's such a common cover for this type of stuff. It's almost a joke. It's like when people in intelligence, like anyone that's a background in it will know what I'm talking about, or like they joke about, oh, I'm sure that guy, he's a reporter. He runs a travel agency, right? Oh, he's a photographer. Like, it's just one of those things. It's just a great excuse to go around with VIPs. It just works. And that guy's name is Eddie Gonzalez. I think he moved to Russia from Texas. I think that is, right? And so he has the show with Joseph Schutzman. That's the one that Butina constantly goes on. She's an influence operative. So put all that together. Candace's undisclosed meetings are with a company that handles all of that entire operation, and works with one of the foremost experts in infiltrating the American conservative movement. Here's another individual, Pietro Stramezzi. I know I'm like destroying these words. Pietro Stramezzi. He leads a group called Friends of Russia. He posted a picture with Candace on June 1st. And he says he's the one who hosted them, but I don't think he matched the profile of what she was describing. So, but hosted might just meant like he had an event. Like, he did have an event. I'm going to show you a video of it. So he heads, or at least recently headed the youth wing of an organization led by a guy named Lavarini. Lavarini is an associate of Dugin, involved with the Italians, like the Italians are on their side. And so the organization that he leads the youth wing of, that guy has ties to an interesting group called the Russian Imperial Movement. The Russian Imperial Movement, well, he's involved because, let me be specific, because I want to be clear. I'm not saying that the original Italian guy, Pietro Stramezzi, I'm not saying he's connected to the Russian Imperial Movement directly, but he led the youth wing of an organization led by a guy who is, like his boss was. And so who is Russian Imperial Movement? Well, they put together a coalition called the World National Conservative Movement Council. It was a network of European groups that are all pro-Russia. There was this big effort by the Russian Imperial Movement to try to unify European and North American, like white supremacist groups, pro-Russia groups, fascist groups, all the radical ones. They're trying to form a common front. This was especially a thing around the time of the Charlottesville protest that was going on. So this guy, Pietro Stramezzi, posts a picture saying he hosted Candace Owens. Who is this guy? He leads the youth wing of an associate of the Russian Imperial Movement. So now you know that. What is the Russian Imperial Movement? Why am I bringing that up? The Russian Imperial Movement was designated as a foreign terrorist organization under the first term of President Trump. In fact, it was a big deal because it was the first time that the U.S. had designated a foreign white supremacist group, especially one that's based out of Russia. It's connected to the Russian government. They trained terrorists that attacked Europe, but then did all this other subversive stuff. So let me be clear again. The person who says that he hosted Candace and posted a picture with her on the strip led the youth wing of an organization linked to the Russian Imperial Movement, a foreign terrorist organization. Some people will just say that's indirect and guilt by association. Other people will say it's a little bit too close for comfort. I'm going to let you decide. But I think that's a little bit of the headline, right? And that same individual who I just mentioned, the one who led the youth wing and is one that hosted her, what's he known for? Like, if you look through the Russian internet, what's his name most commonly associated with? Well, Alexander Dugin is one of them. The shared values visa. Now I keep going back to that policy. Relatively new policy that Russia said. So we're going to be the safe harbor for Westerners. This guy's associated with it. Another guy. So you have, this is now the third guy involved in organizing her trip and where she was going, the host that's involved in this. Specifically, like, there's an article that's basically, they call him like a representative actually for it, particularly for Italians, because the guy's Russian and Italian. In August 2024, it's describing him as basically being a face for the shared values residency pathway. And basically, you apply for this, you say, I'm being persecuted in the West because I'm a Christian or I'm a conservative. The big one is they're trying to transgender my kids, like, against their will, or come take them. Like, all this like wild stuff that Russia tries to make sound like it goes on in every school, every corner, as if that reality exists. So you're persecuted by the liberals, you're persecuted by the woke, the globalists, whatever term you want to use. And so you apply for this visa. And it's a 3-year visa, but then you can renew it or you can go for citizenship or whatever. But the idea is to give you asylum, basically. And so this guy is involved as one of the faces. There's a video, Alex, that this guy posted. I don't know if you can see it there. In the list of files, well, this will give it away, but look for the name Steven Seagal. The martial artist, the actor, the has-been. All right. I believe that's the one that shows him. Oh, there he is. He gained a little bit.
He's still alive?
He got older. I'm not ragging on him. But he's a bastard, so I don't care that much. So he moved to Russia, probably maybe genuinely loved Putin, whatever. He became friends with Putin. Putin gives him this big award, grants him citizenship personally. Steven Seagal is like a big symbol of Americans moving to Russia because they have better opportunities in Russia and because America persecutes people. You know, and so what was his issue in America though? Like not paying taxes, financial. It was a financial necessity for him to go to Russia, and Russia was happy to give it to him. He screwed up a little bit because he still left some of his assets in the hands of one of his managers, and that manager and the entity was still in the United States. And so a judge was able to say, "Oh, well, we're going to take that little piece that you left behind." But she is with. I'm sure that he will tell her, if you're looking to leave the United States, don't make the mistake I did. I mean, isn't that the perfect guy to have that conversation with? By the way, how come she didn't promote that she met him? Right? I mean, if you're with Steven Seagal, most people would like brag about that. It would fit her narrative. I don't know that I won't speculate why, but why did she not want her fan base to know that she was in the same room as Steven Seagal, who also spoke at the same event as her, by the way? Kind of interesting. Okay, I'm just going through. I want to see.
God, look just like an Oompa Loompa.
Okay, so here's a little bit about the shared values visa, because this is going to make some light bulbs go off. It's technically not a visa. It's a temporary residence permit, but you have to apply for it after entering Russia. So you might be thinking, well,
I know
she's concerned about the lawsuits. Like, why don't you just hightail it out?
Hey,
Actually,
Dana,
if you follow the process, what does it look like? You go there for a short little bit because you have to, file for this, or maybe you don't even do that. You have to have your first person. Most likely, you would want to have your in-person meeting with the people that handle it, and then you know what documents to bring and that type of thing. That's how it would likely go. But if you want to speed it up, then you can do it on the first visit. But the point being, it's a short trip, right? I was saying it was weird. Who does a family vacation in Russia for less than a week? Right, all the way over there, all that huge expense. It doesn't really make sense. It makes sense if you need to hold preparatory meetings for this type of thing. I mean, that's the time space that's required. And then she says, as soon as she comes back, well, actually I think she said to the Russian state media, "Oh, I'd love to be here for years studying religion." Ceding that little pretext. But she says on X, "Oh, I'm going to come back to Moscow and I'm probably going to stay for a month."
Candace,
it's just interesting. Research the process, and you'll see it's an interesting time frame. And then she also, after that, said, I'm trying to find the exact quote. It was just a few days ago. She went back to the theme, and it's an anomaly because no one's asking her about this. Like, no one asked Candace, but she puts out a statement saying, just because the paperwork is so annoying, I'm going to apply for a longer term visa to Russia. But, okay, what?
Candace, go there and don't come back. Bye, Felicia. Why did she think Candace, we would rather you just take your dumb ass over there and stay there forever. Goodbye. You want to keep taking him over there as a war and all this crap? Girl, we don't. Bye, Felicia. You do know, though, we'll know if you're giving up state secrets or something. Because you're not that smart. So it's not hard to get information out of this moron when you are no longer useful to them. George, I'll tell you something right now. They ain't gonna like him too much when he's done fishing for mermaids. That dude she was taking that photo with, that's right up George's alley. I'm surprised George is not sitting there like, I want a photo next. Candace, you taking the photo with a dude that looks just like George. And he probably was like waiting in line. I got next. He could care less. He doesn't care about any of this. All because of what? Why did he fight for citizenship in the United States of America? Why would George Farmer want citizenship in the U.S. if they're going to turn around and just move to Russia forever? Make it make sense to me. How you doing, No Reply? How y'all doing? All those that came up in here, C-Star, all y'all that came up in here, shout out to all of y'all. What sense does it make? For George to lie, he getting hit with DUIs, and then he goes through all of this to become a citizen of the United States. If you're going to go to Russia and live there forever, what was the purpose of that? George? Because you didn't have to become a U.S. citizen. I mean, you go fishing for mermaids in Russia, you might as well just stay your little ass over there. Y'all, this is something else. Dubai with Andrew Tate, like he's just all over the place. George, what would be the use of getting U.S. citizenship if you're going to just go to Russia and be there forever? Don't come back, Candace. I already told you that, girl. Bye. Bye, Felicia. If you want to go to Russia, go be Russian. She said this 6 months ago. You thought we didn't catch that over here, Candace? I told you, I see through you, you dumbass. I caught that 6 months ago. Candace would rather be Russian. I caught it to the point where I had to do a separate video on that because I couldn't believe it. I was like, girl, bye. Ain't nobody stopping you. You could have went over there 6 months ago. I still caught it. We caught that over here. Candace, we don't care if you want to go there. How you doing, Dana? How you doing, honey? Oh, thank you, honey. He just think we big mad because she went to Russia. God, we don't give a damn. You don't speak for us. You don't speak for us. You do not talk on our behalf. If you're going to be Russian, let me tell you something. If you want to be Russian, Candace, leave us alone. Leave the United States of America alone. That means you're not over there to be an ambassador or our representative. The hell you are. You don't speak on our behalf either. If you can't stand the United States of America, then you don't go to Russia talking about, I'm going to get the U.S. of America to be like y'all. No, you not. You going to stay your dumb ass over there and leave us alone. Leave us complete alone. We don't need you speaking for us. The hell? They can have your bum ass. I keep saying this. Candace, we don't care if you stay over there. Just don't come back. Keep your BS over there. You came back knowing that you were tagged and tracked. You know there had to be a camera somewhere on your person. If she tries to go to the White House, I hope they tackle her ass. Can't make this up. Candace, keep your ass away from our White House or the Pentagon.
But why would she tell everybody that, right? It was totally innocent. Why does everybody need to know? No one was asking. No one in our audience cares about the permit process there. That she needs to go for this longer permit. Which, by the way, how you get that permit? The shared visa for fleeing because you're being persecuted in the West. That's one way you get in there because there's all these requirements to get the temporary visa, but you gotta learn the Russian language, Russian history, all this stuff that she doesn't qualify for. She qualifies for the shared values visa. So she's setting up, I believe, the only thing that matches. She's setting up to be able to say, like, oh, just because of paperwork. Look, I told you all the way back then, the paperwork was a pain in the butt. So I needed to just get a longer residency permit so that we don't have to do it each time. And she says in the same statement, because we're going to go to Russia probably biannually. We're going to go twice a year, just like we do to the UK. See, it's every time she's addressing something that she's insecure about, where she doesn't want to look proactive about something or planning something. She always ties it back to either my critics are making me respond in this way. I didn't want to. It's happened randomly. It wasn't under my control, my decision, you did. Or it's normal course of business, guys. Going twice a year to Russia, same thing as going to the UK. When she first announced that she was going to Russia, what did she say about her husband? She had her calm, watch the video. She is calm and she's talking about, I'm going to go to Russia.
She knows that he does not go fishing over there like that. Why would he go to Russia to go fishing? No, he goes to Russia to drink with his drunk ass. What do you mean? George doesn't go fishing in Russia. They know what he's doing in the cabin. George, when you're in the closet, man, you sitting up in this lavender ass marriage, boy. You're not fooling them. You do know they following you everywhere you go, you moron. You can't go over there and get drunk and smash up their establishments. They're gonna whoop your ass, George. I hope you know that. You got to worry about more than a black eye. He can't make this up. I've never seen someone sit here trying to force a whole nother country to be like another country that is not our ally. Good new girl, bye. Girl, get your ass on.
Confidently, and then she goes off script a little bit, and so her eyes dart back and forth. And she's trying to figure out. She feels like she has to say something more. And she's just like, oh well, you know, my husband has been there a bunch of times, and because Europeans they just go everywhere, you know, and that's the line she put out there was weird. Why did you mention that? Why'd you feel at that moment you needed to double down that answer and just like add a little bit more justification for this trip? And assure people that this is not abnormal. The reason it looks abnormal to you is because you're American. If you're a European, it would look normal. I mean, that's the subtlety there. That's the subtle message, right? Nothing to see here. And then she later says that he went there a lot, 1 or 2 times a year. It comes back to that same number. She goes, oh, George would go to Russia like once or twice a year for fishing. Well, she didn't say that the first time she mentioned. She just said, oh, Europeans do that type of thing. And then she clarifies later, oh, fishing. Because Europeans go to Russia for fishing. I mean, Russia's been a troublesome spot for a long time. That's an expensive, long trip to go fishing. And I'm not necessarily accusing him of doing something nefarious. But what I am saying is that there's a lot of weird coincidences, almost always accompanied by some assurance that it is not an anomaly.
He's not fishing. He's getting drunk.
So according to the process, first, you have to enter Russia on your standard single-entry private visa. So maybe she'll do this next time. He goes on the private visa, and then you apply for the shared values visa if this is what you want to do. And that's the temporary residence permit. That's good for 3 years, but then you can renew it. But you've got to pick a category. Remember what I said before. There's still policies and procedures. You got to qualify. The eligible category that you can pick on this one would be because you need to go to Russia, but due to the individual, the applicant, their rejection of the policy implemented by these states that impose destructive, neoliberal ideological attitudes that contradict traditional Russian spiritual and moral values. And clause 4, governing that, says at some point you have to confirm it in writing, which is something you're going to want if you have to do that. You want to do that at the end, or you're going to do it in person. You don't want that. You don't want this being electronically transmitted through email if you want to go through with this. Now, I'm sure she believes a lot of what she's saying. But isn't that just another interesting data point? I mean, what has been her mantra lately? Like, there were standard pro-Russia lines at one point. Oh, the Russian Orthodox Church is good. I think Russia's a good guy in Ukraine. Some stuff that I think is crazy, but, like, that's out there. People can pick that up in the normal echo chamber. And around 2022, it just goes hardcore. She basically starts saying she's an expert on Russia. It's a personality change when it comes to that. I don't know why. But especially lately, she's, like, diving in on saying and embodying the very things, adopting the very issues that this process requires you to adopt and believe in. After you apply, because you feel that your Western society, and it lists countries, America and the UK is one of them, so you feel that America is contradicting Russia's traditional spiritual and moral values, so you have to flee. For you. You have so hard. After you apply, Russia performs standard security and document vetting. There's a process. You have to do medical exams, fingerprinting, a lot of stuff you have to do in person. But basically, up until you go through that process, even though they don't have as a step ideological screening, that is going on. I mean, you have to declare something. There's one website I read where they were warning people about this. I mean, they're advocating doing this, but they said, but just know the declarations you're going to have to make can cause you some trouble back home. In other words, you have to become a traitor. You have to swear loyalty to Russia, which she has. I'm tempted to say she's almost directly done it. If you look at some of the language, when she says that there's spiritually superior and she's a spiritual person, isn't that a declaration of loyalty? She says Russia's better in every way. We should be like Russia. I mean, it's pretty close to loyalty. She talked about, in one tweet, she was saying, oh, I can't wait to dispel all the lies about Russia. Everything, literally everything you've heard negative about Russia is wrong. All of it. Like that's almost swearing loyalty. And I don't know that necessarily says you have to swear loyalty, but it's clear from the way it's being described by the companies and the websites that facilitate and promote people going through this, and by the letter of what's required, that you have to ideologically separate yourself from your home country and view Russia as better. And at some point, you're probably going to have to essentially be a traitor. Okay, so there's one website, Rushable. I was looking at different sites that give guidance on this in English because this is what Americans have to read. Applicants must declare disagreement with the country's policy. So this is the one that is saying, be aware if you do this, you're gonna it could cause some trouble back home. It warns that your financial assets might be frozen because of sanctions, and transactions going to and from Russia are kind of frowned upon. You'll be received negatively in the West. People won't like you because you're gonna have to basically betray. It doesn't say that, but it says your declaration is going to cause problems for you back home. But the intention, it emphasizes this. The exact phrase, long-term commitment. The permit that you're applying for, it explains, is temporary. But the intention is eventual long-term residence in Russia. So, and it actually says, here's a quote. Now, why am I going over this? Because I want to dispel the idea that going for that longer term permit is like not a big deal. She does this. Oh, it didn't. Has nothing to do with treason. It has nothing to do with setting up shop in Russia to get away from the consequences of my crazy podcast and my crazy theories. No, it's just it's paperwork. It's annoying. That's her argument. But if you look at what the resources say about what this is, what the dangers are posed, and what you have to be doing, and what you have to intend to do, it's a different story. And it says, this is a guy, quote, not a quick fix. This is not meant as a short-term escape valve, but for those genuinely planning a long-term move to Russia. And this happens under, I want to go through more lines so you know what the criteria are and you can match it up with the stuff that she was saying, especially in Russia. Sorry. You're going to see it's not her normal word language, right? Her normal word usage. Like the way it's described, the key words, it's like the key words that someone picks up when they're trying to fit in. They're just learning a topic. They learn the hot words that sound like intellectual to get in the in group. It's just not her normal way of conversing. And you see her using those words and making those points. And then these are the words that show up in the criteria. She's auditioning. I'm tempted to say, and again, that's my opinion. When I'm saying auditioning, I want to separate what the facts are from my very confident assessment. She is basically verbally applying for that. So presidential decree number 702 came out on August 19, 2024. All right, relatively recent. And that's the one that has, like, what it's about is on providing humanitarian support to persons sharing traditional Russian spiritual and moral values. So here's some quotes. That's its purpose. So you believe in these things if you want it. With the aim of protecting fundamental human rights and freedoms, supporting those who freely choose a spiritual, cultural, and legal connection with the Russian Federation. It grants right to apply for a temporary residency permit, foreign citizens. Their inability to stay in their countries due to rejection of destructive neoliberal policies that conflict with traditional Russian spiritual and moral values. Okay, so that I said before, that's kind of like, that's repeated throughout these sources. Point 13, traditional values are threatened by the activities of extremist and terrorist organizations. It means in Russia. And these extremists threaten individual media, mass communications, the actions of the United States of America. It's defining as a threat. So saying the purpose of this visa is because the actions of the United States of America and other unfriendly foreign states threaten Russia's traditional values. You have to choose one or the other. So that's part of the rationale for it officially. Let's see, look at 14. Section 14. Ideological and psychological influence on citizens leads to the implantation of a system of ideas and values that is alien to the Russian people and destructive to Russian society. Hereinafter referred to as destructive ideology, including the cultivation of selfishness, permissiveness, immorality, denial of the ideals of patriotism, service to the fatherland, the natural continuation of life, value, strong family, marriage, large families, creative work. These are all things it's saying, these are threats coming from the West facing Russia. So it's saying, this is what we have to defend ourselves against. This permit is a way of getting people who are on our side when it comes to these things. So you can't. So if you want to apply for this, you can't contradict Russia on any of them. Service to the fatherland, like you can never criticize that. Russia's positive contribution to world history and culture, the destruction of the traditional family through the promotion of non-traditional sexual relationships. So if you're pro-LGBT, you can go through this. So if you're applying, you better double down on that. You've got to believe in Russia's positive contribution to world history and culture. I mean, that's kind of the weird thing that she's been hitting at, right? She's not a historian. Speaks very confident, though, about Russia's positive contribution to world history and culture. The formation of a society that neglects spiritual and moral values. That's another threat that Russia needs to combat. This is a good one. Distortion of historical truth, destruction of historical memory. All right, so you can't contradict Russia's narrative about history. They have true history. So that goes along with her saying, everything you've ever heard about Russia is wrong. It's a lie. It's fake and gay, as she says. Denial of Russian identity, weakening of the all-Russian civic identity, the unity of the multinational people of Russia, undermining trust in state institutions. That's a threat. Reforms in the field of education and upbringing, culture, science, media, and mass communications should be carried out taking into account historical traditions and the experience accumulated by Russian society, subject to broad public discussions. Like, these are all, like, when she's praising everything about Russia, it's like she's checking all the boxes. Another part that's great. Formation in the international arena of the image of the Russian state as the custodian and defender of traditional, universal, spiritual, and moral values. You can't go against that. You have to endorse that. That's a pretty kind of extreme position, right? Sounds a little culty, a little bit like a cult, like you're indoctrinated. Oh, happens to fall right into it. Yeah, you have to be a willing hostage of the yeah, they just don't call themselves communists. They call themselves Christians. So now, oh, I guess they're okay. Increasing the international prestige of the Russian Federation. All right, so it goes on and on. And now you might be saying, oh, the idea of Candace or somebody getting sued and then going there is weird. I'm going to show you why it's not weird. It actually happens. Like, it happens like this visa, 1,000 visas under this have gone to foreigners under this program. Most went to Germany, but 105 went to Americans. So what I'm saying is an option for her. By the way, you just wait till I get to why I say it's the only option. 105 Americans already taken it up, so it's not actually an uncommon thing. Oh, the OKA agency. That's the company I was referring to before that those guys are associated with. They promote it on their YouTube channel and all that. Part of their website says that they can help residency permit as well as temporary and speed up residency for specialized skills. Yeah, they can speed up the program for you. Oh, Rushable, one of the sites that's promoting this. This is going to get to the second part of what I think is happening. Really, really important. It says, many people, well, it says bridge account in a friendly country when you prepare to move to Russia. Many people first open accounts in Georgia, Armenia, Serbia, or Turkey, transfer there from the US or European Union, their assets, and then move on to Russia. And it goes on to warn that that permit can take 4 months. It takes a long time to have savings. And this is what you got to do. You got to move it to another country. So if you want to do this, you've got to involve another country where your money can be held safely. Now, if you want to move to Russia, it's hard to get money in and out. That's a problem no matter what. So there's probably, if Candace or anyone wants to do this, one of the tells is that they're also going to be traveling to another country where their money can be safe. Well, Candace, I think it was when she came back, or maybe she made the announcement, she said, we're doing another family vacation in a month. I bet people have something to say about that. She didn't name the country. Why? She's acknowledging people are going to criticize it. Why? Maybe because a light bulb is going to go off. You combine that with a short trip to Russia, then you go to this other one, you put them together, and that's the best process for this type of thing. So what could that be? I'm going to get to it. I think it's Dubai. I don't know if that's the next country she goes to, but Dubai would be the best option. All right, let's talk about precedent. I was talking about scripting and that this isn't weird, the theory I'm putting forth. If you want to figure out what someone's going to do or a government is going to do, the best thing to do is look for the closest, the example closest to it. With Candace, it would be Natasha Ray. the originator of the Brigitte Macron conspiracy theory that was promoted by Russia. The originator is very pro-Putin. Just like Candace, Natasha Ray got sued. She lost. What was the next step? She filed for asylum in Russia. She ended up not going there because it got overturned, so I guess she wants to battle out in court later. But if Candace is looking at Alex Jones, she has to think that's likely me next. If she's looking at the originator of the Macron conspiracy theory that she adopted and expanded, and says, oh, they sued and they lost. Now the Macrons are suing me under the same basis in the United States through Delaware. That has to be on our mind constantly. And we know how Russia handles it, how they handle it with the originator. Offered asylum. There's actually, I don't know if you have it there, Alex. If you search Ray, R-A-Y, all right, don't worry about it. Oh, wait, yeah. Zoom in on the left part. Maybe I can read it. Look at the language she uses to go, when she thinks she has to hightail to Russia because she's getting sued by the Macrons the same way Candace getting sued. Oh, Russia is better than France for all these reasons. France persecutes free speech. Russia defends traditional and Christian values.
They think Russia does not persecute for free speech. Didn't they have one of their journalists locked up forever? And what happened with him? Candace, I want you to go over there. I want you to stay over there forever. Do not come back over here crying when they realize that you really are an idiot and you are of no value to them at all. You understand? They would rather you just give them information about the U.S. as opposed to you being there full time, and they know how you are. You think Candace is going to be able to stay over there for 4 full months and not do a video where someone is going to say something she doesn't like, and then her and her dumbass mommy slews impersonating investigators are going to try to dox this person, and then all hell is going to break loose? Candace, you're not going to be able to dox them over there like that. This nonsense you and your dumb bots and your cult members be doing over here, you cannot do that over there. Most of these bots are all up in our chats and stuff coming from there anyway. But they're not gonna let you pull that stunt over there. You will not be able to go to the Kremlin talking about, I'm doxing all you all. How about I just start pulling information on this person? I don't like them, and then I'm gonna release it. Kansas. Yeah, see how that works out for you. I want you to try that out. Try that out for size. You're doing this to dodge a lawsuit while you're stalling the hearings. But she told her cult members, I cannot wait to get to the discovery phase. Sue me. I want subpoena power. Because that discovery is going to be something else. While she's sitting here, secretly trying to leave the country, allegedly to dodge a lawsuit and stalling the hearing. The one hearing that's being rescheduled 3 times. All because you know you're going to lose. You're going to lose like hell. Brigitte Macron told all of you heifers to kick rocks. And y'all keep playing with that. And you think she's supposed to be cool with you trying to call her a man and say that she did not give birth 3 times? God will sue your ass too. You trying to take away her womanhood and her motherhood. You can't make this up. Why are you taking 4 kids to a war zone area? You refuse to leave people alone. So when they sue you, you had it coming. Why don't you tell your co-defendant to accept service? How about that? How about start with that? Oh, this is something else, y'all. Imagine how she's gonna try to stall this Brian Harper lawsuit. Ugh. All this because she does not want the Macrons to sue her. You're doing something. Ryan is able to figure out your pattern, Candace. It's like so simple. The way he's kind of flowing through this, it's like it's so easy to see what she's trying to do. She's mad because the Macrons are suing her. And she's even more mad, bigly mad. Candace is bigly mad that Trump and the executive branch of government are not sitting here blasting out friends for her. They don't owe you that. And now because she mad at the president, she mad at everybody. That's why she leaving. Because Candace is big mad. This is what happens when things get tough for her. She runs or she gets fired. Because she big mad. So that $214 million of assets that, you know, Wikipedia said George has, what do y'all plan on doing with it? Because that means you should not be taking money from Russia either. You know, they had to be paying her something to come over there. At the very least, she got a free trip. You actually lived in a house with 8 other people. Gary, you don't... Candace barely deal with her own kids. You think she's going to deal with 8 other small children?
It's our inherent domain.
All this stuff,
Look, it's all the same script.
Big man.
So you would think that these are separate data points, right? But no, if you look at all of this as an influence operation, you put those data points together, this is a process. The person that she's most likely to copy is going to be the person whose life is most like hers, who's getting sued in the same way for the same thing. So she has to be aware that that's what that person had to do. They almost had to flee to Russia and they had to say these things. And then it just so happens that she takes a hidden secretive trip to Russia that she lies about to go to the most secure event possible. And she's with associates of a company that specializes in bringing Americans over there to move there. I mean, to do that exact thing. I mean, come on, add all this up. And again, the Brian Harper lawsuit was April 30th. 5 days later, she's already setting the pretense. Hey, I got to go to St. Petersburg. Nothing to see here. Always just been interested.
We peeped her 6 months ago. She said
she's also said that I guess she had some legal dispute with the Daily Wire. So she's been saying that Ben Shapiro is threatening to bankrupt her. So that's really on her mind. She's talking about Brian Harper. She has the Macrons. She claims she has Ben Shapiro and Daily Wire after her. And then what about the big one? What if Erica Kirk and Turning Point go after her? To file a lawsuit. If that happens, she has to think long and hard about, I'm likely going to lose and have everything taken from me. And then she's going to think, well, I have this option. I prepared it. My audience will feel sympathetic to me for doing it. They feel I'm a victim. Who can blame her? She had to save the future of her kids. I mean, it's logical, right? You love your kids. You're going to, like, what other options does she have? So if she loses these lawsuits, she needs 2 things. First, she needs a country to go to that she's comfortable in that will not cooperate with the US and European courts. Most countries have agreements with the US. The laws relating to offshore accounts have been improved. But that wouldn't even solve then your personal accounts, you know, like you do have to have a bank.
Candace, you know, you're going to have to give Russia something in exchange for them hiding all your money. You know, all this money you made from lying like hell on people for no reason. That will not be free for you. There is some price you're going to have to pay. Now, hopefully that price is very great for you. It's one you cannot come back from. Just as a heads up, there's a price you will have to pay. Because didn't they just pass something where they're taking money and consolidating it into their government? I mean, aren't they communists? Candace, they don't let people just sit over there just be rich like that. Like the government will take your money if they need it. Over there, they'll take all your money. Didn't they just pass a bill or something over there? Where they consolidate money out from like the wealthy people and all that? Is it just me? This is crazy. We saw 6 months ago when Candace said, I would rather be Russian, and I said, bye, Felicia. Candace, you ain't fool us over here, girl. Nah. You can't make this up. And she wants to be on the payroll for TPUSA. Nikki, can you believe it? She said, I wish TPUSA would do the right thing and just give me a monthly retainer. Hell no. What? You know, Erica Kirk had to be watching that video. Like, what's she just like? Oh, Mama. Mama, you believe this damn girl? Oh no. Oh, child. Oh my God. She was like, I don't tell why this girl not telling me to put her on my payroll and give her a monthly retainer, and now she wants to just go to Russia. Girl, no, Felicia. No, Felicia. Didn't they pass a bill over there where they're consolidating some wealth or something like that? I gotta look this up. That's why I saw some bill passed over there. No reply. Oh, her court date got pushed back to July 22nd. This girl is stalling. She doesn't want to go to court. And I guess she thinks stalling it, I guess it's going to give her time to do whatever. She does not want to go to court. But yet and still, she wants to get to the discovery phase. No one told her to file a motion to dismiss either. She did all of that on her own, and yet she refuses to go to court on her dumb motion. Make it make sense? Candace, this is all your fault. You brought this upon yourself. You refuse to leave people alone. You're going to learn. They don't play that over there in Russia. You think you got free speech over there? You don't. They'll be practically daring you to say that you're going to dock somebody. They dare you. Because that's all you do. You and your weird ass fake mommy sleuth CIA investigators impersonating federal investigators and committing felonies. All you all do is commit cyber crimes. They don't play that over there in Russia. You're not going to be able to cyberdox them because you don't like something that they're saying about you. They will shut you and your mommy sleuths down. They'll figure out your IP addresses and find out where the hell all of them at. Y'all can't just take your behind over there where you think you got free speech. Go ahead, girl.
You look at the list of places she can go. She's not going to go to North Korea. She's not going to go to Iran. She can't go anywhere in Europe, basically, because the European Union agreements. Even countries that don't have full agreements have partial agreements. You can't gamble with that. She likes Russia, and it's the only option. Those things all line up. And it's the option that the closest, nearest example was almost exercised. And by the way, Russian oligarchs who know how to shift money in and out and this whole thing, I mean, they're all over that event she was at. I don't know if she met with them, but Laura Loomer pointed out, and I don't know if this means anything, but it's a data point, but I'm not incorporating this into my analysis. That recently on one of her LLCs, she changed the officers. And that she's also got a private trust that she puts assets in, which is a way of hiding it. It's not illegal. People do it. Rich people do it all the time. So they want people to look at what they have, right? So it's in and of itself not a problem, but you mix it in with everything else. At the very least, it's good that Laura found it and put it out there. So it's a key data point. All right, so I said there's two things, right? Where she placed her family, the only safe option is Russia. In this circumstance. The only safe, semi-comfortable option is Russia. But what about the assets? Because you got to get money in and out. Probably don't want to trust the Russian government completely. I mean, they just come in and take something, right? That's where Dubai comes in. Perhaps the UAE is that second mysterious country that she needs to go to on a family vacation almost immediately after doing the Russia leg of her family vacations. Because she said, again, she acknowledged people are going to criticize it. She knows the light bulb's going to go off. Russian oligarchs, Dubai is their favorite place. The Iranian government used Dubai. Everybody uses Dubai for money laundering, hiding assets, and you can actually do it legally, like without breaking American law. You can close your LLC in the U.S. and
set up a business entity in the UAE. That's legal. There's a lot you can do that's legal to set this up. But am I reaching? Like, Russian oligarchs put their assets in Dubai, but like Candace Owens in Dubai, like a Muslim, like you might be thinking, Ryan, like Russia she talks about, there's a connection. Now you're getting cocky, thinking you can figure out that second country. Well, Alex, try searching Dubai or UAE in that folder. Remember what I said about the tells? Just wait, it's going to be worth it. Ah, no, it's going to give it away. Different one. All right. There's a tweet. This is so interesting. August 2024. Would you say Candace Owens is like a big foreign policy buff? Like, would she care about relations between the UAE and France? You know, does she read newspapers about the relationship between the UAE and France? Is she passionate enough to post about the relationship between the UAE and France? I mean, probably not, right? She posts a link about how the UAE has completely frozen buying 80 jets from France because they're mad that Telegram's leader, who's Russia linked, by the way, got arrested there. Now, if you agree with UAE doing that, let's just say you're passionate. You might say, good job, UAE. Like, there's a million ways you can express agreement. What does she say? August 27, 2024. Wow, might be time to move to Dubai. That's a little bit of tell, right? Like, who reads something like that and says, oh, might be time to move there. Why? Why? Oh, because they canceled a contract with France for jets. They arrested a guy with an encrypted messaging app, and I don't like that. Might be time to move there. No, it's on her mind for some reason. February 2025, a little bit of a tell. She responds to someone saying, talking about traveling in the Middle East. Where can Christian women go that's safe? She answers Jordan and UAE. Why is UAE on her mind with that? Why did she feel compelled to spend her time responding? Because she actually doesn't tweet a lot compared to other people. So it's telling them certain things, say, oh, I need to address that. Yeah, there you go. See, it's an innocent comment that isn't interesting if you line up all these things. And that's why I had to do this long podcast. Now, here's the kicker. If she wants to shift her assets, she needs someone she can trust, right? I mean, that's kind of, you need someone you can really trust. Who can you trust to help you shift your assets? I mean, you need someone who's done that a lot, who's succeeded, who's willing to take that risk. I mean, what are the odds that she knows somebody? Well, look for the screenshot. I think you know what I'm talking about. There you go. Andrew and Tristan Tate happens to arrive in Russia, and specifically the part of Russia Candace at St. Petersburg at the same time on her short little trip. There's no pictures indicating that they hung out, but the Tate brothers are longtime friends of George Farmer, going way back. Weirdly, they never explained why that friendship began, why it lasted so long, what it's based on. But we know they're friends. We know that Candace did a show interviewing Andrew Tate, defending his innocence, despite all his financial crimes, sexual crimes he's accused of. And I might have forgotten to give the video.
Yeah, I got to show y'all this. Candace. Candace. Oh, you dumbass. Y'all, I told y'all. Putin is trying to tax the rich to close Russia's budget gap. You know, to pay for the war. Putin says tax hike or wealthy possible. Finance Ministry unveils measure to ensure reserve replenishment. Ministry says the measure will boost resilience to sanctions. Draft budget to be submitted to Parliament on September 29th. Candace. Girl, this was September last year. Go ahead, take all your money over there. Go on, girl. Because either way, you're going to lose it. Listen, God know how to show you who's God and get your attention. So whether you lose this money in judgments from lawsuits, or you put it over there and then they take it to help fund their war, you still gonna be broke as hell, heifer. Candace, do you know that the Kremlin has more power now? You go over there and you tell them that you're gonna sit here and try to dox them if you want to. They're gonna whoop your ass. Now take your money over there, Candace. Take all your money over there so they can take it and use it to fund their war. Go ahead. Listen, they don't care how you feel over there. They'll say, hey, you have 50 million. We want it all. You support Mother Russia now. We will take it from your bank accounts. We know exactly where you're hiding them. Good day. And they're going to hang up, and that's it. They're not going to ask you how you feel. Oh, you trying to buy a house or something like that? They don't give a damn. What you mean? She thinks she's going to hide money over there, Candace. You're not hiding anything over there. You're not hiding anything over there. What lawyer it is? It was the lawyer, Catherine. She still has the same 2 or 3 main attorneys. But her court date for the Macron lawsuit has been pushed back to July 27th because she keeps stalling on this. Candace, if you think going to Russia is going to help you financially, hide money from a lawsuit from the Macrons that you deserve and you're going to lose. They're going to take it and use it for the benefit of their country. You can't say no. You can't say, I just got here. Y'all already taking $50 billion from me? Girl. Oh, they're going to take all your money. Go on, Candace. Go on, bye. This is what, now y'all see why I keep saying let her go. Let that girl go. Candace, go on, take your dumb ass over there to Russia. Come on. You're not that smart. Remember, you don't know the difference between the letter N and the number 9. Take your behind over there. And then when they call you and say, we freeze bank account, we need the money, the money in your account. 50 million. Good day. And they're going to hang up. They're not going to ask. They're going to say they're taking it, and that's it. What you think you're doing? You going to go there where we're sectioning them. Yeah, good luck to that. You think you're going to be rich? Girl, bye. They want you to move over there so you can take all that money over there. They want you to believe and feel that you're wealthy. And that they're going to keep your money safe and blah, blah, blah. Girl. And y'all know what's so crazy? They track down on stuff like that. If they think that you're just hiding money to keep the money from being used for their country, for tax and stuff like that, yeah, no. They'll take that money. They're not going to let you just hide it. And then when they need it, then you say no. And they're like, we didn't ask. Oh, man. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, she's still there. It's Catherine Mauro and Chad Chandler, something like that. They're still the attorneys on the case. So they pushed it back to July 27th. Why? I don't know. That's what I want to know. I want to know why they had to push it back again. Because Candace choosing to go travel abroad means nothing. It should not. This is the 3rd time that hearing has been pushed back. Makes no sense. So it's July 27th at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Candace, you're not going to be able to hide this money over there. I hope you know that. This was an article from last year, September. They all they doing is just they gonna keep going up. They're like, look, keep on thinking, and they got more power consolidated to the Kremlin. Their two-tier government system gives the Kremlin more power. All they got to do is say we need to tax the wealthy again, and then they're just gonna do it. And Candace, nothing you say or do about that will be able to stop them from taking your money and you trying to hide it somewhere else. All you're gonna do is tell on yourself and piss them off at the same time. So good luck to you. Like I said, let Candace go. She can stay her ass over there and never come back. It will not bother me. Because she's going to get over there and find out the hard way. This is going to be her ultimate FAFO moment. Moving over to Russia full time and then thinking that they're just going to somehow bend the whole wheel. No, they're not. They're going to be like, you no longer live in the United States. There's no First Amendment here. Yeah, I think you're going to have some free speech. Yeah. Candace, you're so dumb. They're probably just laughing at your goofy ass. This is so crazy. They will tax their wealthy in a hot minute. And they will take your money. And you got the audacity to think that you are smart enough to speak at an economic forum? Okay, go ahead, Candace. Please go to Russia and don't come back. Bye.
One of the things that they're very open about
Oh my God.
is that they know how to hide assets. And where do they do it? Dubai. What's one of their main bases of operation? Dubai. When they landed in Moscow and they went to St. Petersburg, where did they come from? Dubai. So think of the models Candace looking around saying, I need to follow. The other lady gets sued by the Macrons for the same thing. She lost. What they do? She prepared for political asylum in Russia and did these things to get there, to open up that option. You better believe she's thinking about doing the same thing. Friend Andrew Tate. He constantly moving around, has to hide assets. Look at what's he doing? He's hiding assets in Dubai and then going to Russia. He's very pro-Putin. In this case, he's like on a propaganda tour. So something new is happening there. So my theory is based on the precedent set by the people around her. And the fact that her behavioral patterns line right up and the logic lines right up. I spent a lot of time trying to figure out her options. I consistently came up with this option. This is the only option. It's Russia and Dubai. Andrew Tate says, Dubai is the best country in the world to buy property. Let's make sure I'm not forgetting anything. All right, so to summarize, as we close out, I mentioned early on that I did that synthesis of the signs of an influence operation and the phases, what goes on. Little details, even if you're planning to defect to a country, you're supposed to travel there a lot, not do it in one shot. You want to make everything you do look like normal and routine, including going to the country that you eventually want to end up in. Like all these little things line up just remarkably. Like how these things go, like an influence operation that ultimately culminates in the top level, which is a defection and setting up operations in the country you go to. Like going back to 2018, you can see the evolution. Her behavior, the lies and everything matches the Russian process to take the visa to go there. So her behavior matches what she has to conclude is the only option if she loses a lawsuit. And it matches my theory about what those options are with Russia and Dubai. You line that up with Andrew Tate, who just happens to show up at that mysterious trip at the same time as her. They don't post pictures together. But if you're going to talk about assets and this type of thing, you got to do it in person. He just shows up. He's not a speaker at the event. He just shows up. Mathematically, like there's no chance that happens like that. You put all that together, I think. And by the way, I left a lot of other things out because I know I said it. There are other like Candace related things I was going to talk about. I'm saving it for later because I'm sick and everything. But these are the more, I mean, this is the thing that people were waiting for, right? So what were the new revelations? The big one is that she did not disclose who she was traveling around with, probably because it's a giveaway. It's the very people she needs to work with if she ever wants to hightail it out to avoid her assets being taken if she loses a lawsuit. And so that's a big find, is all those people and a lot of activity. But then analytically, you add it up with Andrew Tate, with the only options available to her, the precedent by the people around her in similar situations, the behavioral patterns, what she's lying about, the specific things that she's saying, like it all fits. And so what happens, right? So let's say she does that. It's not just about Candace. At that point, it'll be the biggest success in Russian propaganda history if this happens. They're recruiting American conservatives and Christians to go to Russia, or at least ally with Russia, but especially go there, basically to form an ideological base for Tsarist Christianity to do a crusade, to preach against pro-Western Christianity. Just the other day, I saw Candace said Judeo-Christian, whatever the hell that means. She sees a civil war within Christianity and Russia on the right side. So she's a person of faith, and like she has to go there, right? She has to work for them, according to her view. If you know who Tokyo Rose is during World War II, Japan had an American-speaking female speaker doing propaganda to mess with American troops. That's a big deal. This is bigger. I mean, setting up a base in Russia and bringing her audience, exposing them to not just her content, but the content on whatever network she's a part of or whatever infrastructure she's a part of. Having an American celebrity, someone who recently had the #1 podcast, do that is worth every penny, no matter how much it costs to Russia. I mean, this is one of the most golden opportunities in a long time they've had. So from a national security perspective, I'm hoping to stop it. What am I hoping happens? I'm hoping that a judge hears about this and says, based on people she's meeting, which are facts, the things that she's saying, which are facts, that line up with the rhetorical process to qualify. I'm not saying it's insincere, but that tour, oh, by the way, the media tour she did, very weirdly, disproportionately, emphasized the Macron angle. She's being sued by the Macrons. You know her about the Macron story. Now, Russia's influence operations are obsessed with Macron, but it's kind of an old story, right? Like, of all the things to talk about, all the issues she talks about, why Macron? It's a script. They're introducing Candace into the network, but they want, every time you think of Candace, you think of Macron. Why? Because then you think, oh, she's being persecuted, she's being sued. It's laying the groundwork. Like, of course, that's absolutely what you do. So if Candace and others, even the Tate brothers, like whatever, they move to Russia and they operate out of Dubai, it doesn't just end there. It kicks off an ideological assault that's going on right now, but on a much bigger level. And what do I think Candace sees in her mind? I'll close with this. What moment really made Candace resentful towards Erica Kirk? Like what really did it? What moment was she jealous of? Charlie's memorial.
The money she made.
Why? Because Erica, I think, handled a historical moment incredibly well. Like, it couldn't have been more important globally. Inspired people, just like Charlie did. Like, she fought back a wave of evil. There was a lot of bad things that could have happened. She fought it off by acting like a Christian and Christ-like. She forgave the assassin of her husband. And then things she talked about and how she did it, you knew it was genuine. And then she stood on the stage with the American flag and Trump. Now, there's a video of Candace when she's complaining about the aftermath of Charlie's death. Specifically, she goes, I thought it was going to be me and Trump and the FBI, and I'm going to find who killed my friend. She thought she was going to take up the mantle. Officially or unofficially, she'd be the face. I'm the one stepping in the shoes. I'm the one figuring out the killer. I'm the one with the FBI. I'm the one with Trump. What happened to the memorial? Erica Kirk, who she already was resentful for all the wrong reasons, is on there, does a fantastic job, which has to really burn. She's on there with Trump. Very similar to the scenario that Candace was saying she was so upset she didn't get to experience. Now look at what she's doing with Russia. Ideologically, and what she hopes will happen. I believe she envisions herself the closest thing to that now. I believe she's obsessed with being the anti-Erica Kirk.
Absolutely obsessed.
That her crusade against Erica Kirk is a microcosm of where she sees herself in the world. And it intersects with her ideology and everything else. That's why she's the opposite of everything. She doesn't forgive. It's not nice. Everything is opposite. It's like a bizarro situation. I think Candace's behavior, I'll put it this way, Candace's behavior indicates that a scenario where the world looks at the balance of power and sees the American flag and Trump or whoever the president is, and Israel, and Erica Kirk and Turning Point USA on one side. And on the other side is Candace, Tsarist Christianity, their allies, whoever else joins them, and Putin and the Russian flag. It's an almost biblical contrast, right? If you think about this. Like, it's stunning when you think about it.
It sure is.
You look at Russia's influence operations, go back to 2018, which I believe were meant to influence, co-opt, potentially seize TPUSA. And they wanted to leverage Candace to do that, whether she knew it or not. If you read my article, you'll see it's very clear. That was the game plan. But if an influence campaign cannot take over a target, what does that influence campaign do? They destroy it.
Hey, Stacey.
They damage it. They weaken it. Try to make it irrelevant. I mean, look at how that story lines up. I mean, it's just astonishing. And so then you have that going on, and then you have Charlie, what happened to him. Then you have the memorial where you have one of the most powerful displays of positivity and strength and the example of Christ, in my opinion, that I've ever seen. And people are going to church. Wonderful, good things are happening. And the momentum was building and building. And it got diverted. It didn't get debunked, pushed back. But what did people start talking about? Why did those headlines go away? Of how people were going back to church, reading the Bible, and communicating with each other better. Why that stopped? Everyone started talking about Candace. Almost like the snake in the garden, almost like a biblical thing.
Candace, you dumb demon.
This force of light was accelerating, and then there's always an equal but opposite force, and it was her. And her hatred, jealousy of Erica, and the war on Turning Point escalated. And now her identity is wrapped around two things. Number one, it's survival for her and her family. Okay. Financially and all that, but it's wrapped up with being the anti-Erica Kirk. And that's not just politically, it's religiously, it's in terms of behavior, how you deal with people, just everything is opposite. So if that's her driving impulse, then yes, all these other things I said matter as rationales. That alone could lead someone like Candace Owens to go down the path that I believe she's preparing the option for. I believe all the indications are that's what she's looking to do. And by the way, before, it wasn't like I put all this together and said, oh my God, her only option is Russia and Dubai. I thought this a long time ago, way before the Russia trip was even announced. I didn't say it publicly because there weren't enough indications. There wasn't enough lining up for me to say there's so many anomalies pointing in that direction for me to feel confident in saying anything. But then she did the trip to Russia and she did a million things that can only be explained by exercising the option that I long believed is the only option for her. So that's what I had to release. I'm glad that I got through the whole podcast without throwing up. I hope you guys feel like it was impressive enough that it measured up to your expectations. I know that wasn't a 6. I didn't get to do it the way I wanted to. But more importantly, I think I hope it impacts how you view the world, the threats to the West, where things are going in the future. Because this is a story about American civil society and politics overall. It's not about Candace. It's not even about Candace versus Erica. That's just a microcosm, a representation of what's happening more broadly. And nobody, I've never had anybody say, I want to talk to you about the offensive by Russia's Tsarist Christianity. It's the number one ideological threat to Christianity today. The influence operations that I'm proud to have helped expose, because honestly, myself and my two colleagues, Eyepatchman and Restitutor on X, we destroyed that influence operation. That was going to be a big thing. Candace lying about that and showing up there and doing the tour. And the way these things work, first impressions are everything. At that point, if you form the initial headlines and the narrative, most people don't go back to that. They don't revise it. You're just playing catch up at that point. We revealed the purpose and the meaning and fought back before Candace even left the United States. That entire media cycle is all negative. We didn't only counter it, we beat it. We made them pay a price. They ended up in the worst place. That's crazy. Almost never happens. But we had 1 week of negative coverage and people waking up to it. For example, Laura Loomer, I'm sure she would have come to a conclusion eventually anyway, but a 1 week focus on this based on civilian activism through people working with me and the Mauro Institute, which again, that is a little bit of a plug. If you want to support my work, ryanmauro.com, because I do want to continue doing this. But I don't have, I'm trying to be independent. I don't want to be a puppet of the tribes, of the political tribes, and get into that. But that's really the story here. It's the assault on civil society, the assault on Christianity, all the stuff that, you don't really know about. And this is what's coming around the corner. Broadly, with Candace specifically, like I can see the picture forming, and exposing influence ops like we did over a 1 week period. I mean, dominating X for a week, like, if you told me that would never happen in my life, I'd believe it. It was a turning point. And Laura Loomer, again, who is smart enough, she would have realized what was going on her own. I'm not taking anything from her. By the way, she was the first one to report that something about Candace's trip having, like she said, it's not really a family vacation.
Yes, she did.
This guy is known as Russia's George Soros, involves Dugan. There's meetings going on. So my hat's off to her for her sources nailed that. And then we discovered what that was and the broader implications. But she has some very admirable posts on X. Where she said, look, I fell for Russian propaganda that swarmed the conservative movement, took advantage of our tribalism. Well, if the left says it, it must be garbage. And then the left says, the right says it must be garbage. And then you never see the totality of the threat. That's why I define threat as the global seditionist movement. I won't go off on this. I'd love to talk to anyone if you want me to do a podcast about it, I'll do it. But I think that we view the conflict in our civil society, our political system, and globally in terms of security in completely the wrong way. That it's the way we look at things, the framing that we use is it's obsolete. And I think some people are waking up to that now because we smashed that Russian influence operation by discovering it, disclosing it, telling the truth about it, and drowning it throughout the entire week. It just, anytime it popped up, it was the top issue on X, was always a negative headline about it. So these type of things can be beaten back you don't have to rely on the government. You don't have to outsource your responsibility. This is something you can do. It's something that you can support. Feel empowered. You're more empowered than ever. At every single crisis, every single situation where people hurt around the world, you can improve. Look at what I did in Afghanistan, for example, with volunteers. No skill set, no massive infrastructure, nothing. When we were helping the Christian Afghans get out, we just had time and phones. So let the past month, with all these revelations come forth, be an example to you, and let it be an inspiration. And I hope, again, I hope this met your expectations, that you found it interesting. But more importantly, I hope that you're looking at things in civil society differently, in the credibility of our political discourse, in what the biggest threat to America's survival is, what the biggest threat to Christianity is. I hope it impacts all that. And by the way, if I continue doing podcasts, if it makes sense to do, if I'm able to do it, honestly, financially, taking time off from work and everything, it's not all going to be like this. It's not all going to be lectures. It's not it'll be more standard podcast stuff. So it won't be like this every time if you don't like this. I'll do it once in a while for the people that do, when it's investigative stuff. But I'm not looking, if this isn't your style, it's not like a permanent thing. So if you didn't like it, give me another chance. All right. So thanks everyone for tuning in.
Yo, you gotta love this. I loved it. I love the receipts. Our research game is strong, so is his. How do we get Ryan over here in the Lady Luck Club? Anyone know? We gotta get Ryan over here. Ryan, you want to come to Lady Luck Club? I would love to have you over here, honey. This was so good. He dropped receipts and receipts and more receipts and receipts. He had me looking up articles. Candace, they increased taxes on the rich over there in Russia. Good luck to that. Take your dumb ass over there, girl. This has been, I love this the learning style podcast like this, where you're learning information and it encourages you, and just the journalism in me, is invigorated to do research as well while he's talking. I pulled up an article out of nowhere that saw that they passed a bill to raise taxes as well as to push towards their two-tier government system where they give the Kremlin more power. Candace, she's not going to look that stuff up, but if she wants to go to Russia and live over there, then bye. Bye, Felicia. Bye. Don't come back. Stay over there. Don't come back. You can't come back. Oh, man. I would love to have Ryan over here. Y'all invited him? Get out of here, Nikki. What did he say? Oh, I want him to come over here. Yes. He's got, oh, we love the evidence. I love the research. I want him to come over here. That would be awesome. If we can get Ryan up in the LLC, we will. We'll schedule it for July. It'll be one of the first we go back to collabing with. I wanted to give you all, a breather a little bit, as well as myself. But we'll get it going 1st of July and set some up. I would love to collab with him. That was very well done. Well done. And the pattern that he laid out, where you see this, let me escape the rush and try to avoid a lawsuit. Child. Oh man, I wouldn't have been able to call that one. So you got to have a great memory to be able to kind of connect those dots like that. I didn't know who this whatever the Natasha person was. I never heard of him. But I would love for him to come over to the LLC. We will have him the 1st of July. We will have Johnny Walker Dread and talk about oh Lord, Rashad Ritchie from the Young Turks. He's still scamming and lying and making up fake degrees. This is ridiculous. So I would love it. I would love it. That would be awesome. Hopefully he feels better. And he was talking about he was sick and stuff. But that was good. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you all for tuning in and joining me with the watch party. We're going into 3 hours and 26 minutes. And then we have a Candace marathon scheduled for Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern. And then we'll finish up part 3 with Umar. And we're going to get it in. So I appreciate you all. Thank y'all so much. He was sick. I hope he feels better. We'll try to I did send a comment on X saying that I would love to collab with him, and then hopefully we can reach out to him tomorrow. I'll reach out to him tomorrow with a regular PM so that I can see what he's got going on for the 1st of July. I would love to have him in the LLC. I love the research. I love when people come with receipts and information. It is absolutely amazing. And you just kind of lay it out and you get to see the full picture. And his research game is strong. So is ours. But his is strong and I love it. All right. So thank y'all. Y'all hit that like button. Make sure when this concludes, you guys hype this video up. Now stop playing around with it. Hype it up. Like the video. Let's get more views and stuff on it. Eyes and ears on this. And get that information out. I did go over the lawsuit updates for both Brian Harpool as well as the Macron lawsuit. But I will go over it again tomorrow in our marathon. And in that way, we can kind of, anything that comes through is posted up. We'll catch it. But if not, we'll go over the updates again. So y'all make sure you guys get some sleep. And we'll be back at it tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank y'all so much. Love you guys. And until the next one, Lady Luck Club out. Deuces.